around 94 north of Highway 20. We do have a crash. It is on the right shoulder. The rest of the system is looking actually pretty good. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, becoming mostly cloudy, a chance for afternoon showers, a high of 80. Tonight, showers and storms likely, windy with a low of 66. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more. For custom apparel that helps your team, business, or event stand out, choose Big Frog. Visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Every homeowner has a list. That roof, those windows, that bathroom you've been meaning to update. If you've been putting off home improvements, you're not alone. At Exterior Pros and Baths, they help homeowners upgrade their homes with beautiful roofing, siding, windows, doors, gutters, and bathrooms built to last. Right now, save up to $3,000 on your next project. Don't wait until a small problem becomes an expensive one. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com. Exterior Pros and Baths. Done right, built to last.
We've all walked through the Expo Center at the Wisconsin State Fair, seen something and thought, now that would be nice to have. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and that's exactly what happened to me when I found Good Health Saunas just a few years ago. Buying my infrared sauna was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I sleep better, have more energy, recover faster, and with how much I travel, the detox benefits are huge. Visit Good Health Saunas inside the Expo Center at the Wisconsin State Fair August 6th through the 16th, or learn more at goodhealthsaunas.com.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
Our very first guest in the history of Wilde Tausch, which will be, I'm sure, a long and distinguished history.
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
Aaron Rodgers. Give us an over-under on what number would you set for how many shows we do together?
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studio at ESPN Milwaukee.
I'm going to say daily 52 weeks a year. I'm going to say you do about 230.
And celebrating 10 great years on ESPN Wisconsin.
And then what happens?
No, then Tausch kind of bows out.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It is the Friday edition. The Holy Cousin Subs of the Day, Cousin Subs We Believe in Better edition. Wall-to-wall subs, I guess except me, edition. The live from the Wisconsin Women's Championship at TPC Wisconsin, a jiu-jitsu guy and a Hall of Famer edition. And unless Joe's got jiu-jitsu in his background too, then he's both. We'll talk a lot about Packers training camp, but there'll also be some Badger conversation when you have a Badgers legend on the show. And you have Joe Thomas edition of Wilde and Tausch. Riley, you didn't get that joke? You didn't get that? Badgers legend and also Joe Thomas? You didn't get that? Okay, never mind. Of Wilde and Tausch.
Sorry.
On 94.5 ESPN.
We're bringing them along slow today, you know?
On 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker. Man, there's a lot of ways to listen to the show. And, of course, everything you need. In addition to video on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, is the ESPN Wisconsin app, which you can find both in the Apple and Android app stores. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Cousin Sub of the Day number 1, Ryan Ryguy Wollersheim, is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. Hi, Ryguy.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's great. Jesse Nelson taking a much-deserved day off.
Oh, yeah. Every one of those days deserved. Every time. Every single time for our Jesse Nelson. Part-time producer Jesse Nelson, as we call him.
Yeah, he was I don't know if he was bragging or just surprised that he had not been in the producer's chair.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Jason. I'm sure whatever joke you made was hilarious, but we're currently not able to hear you, and it would appear that you are not able to hear us either. So, Riley, why don't you go ahead and tell us how things are looking out there with Joe over at TPC Wisconsin?
Appreciate it, Ryan. Jason, hopefully we get you connected back here soon. It is a beautiful overcast day, a little bit cooler than it's been out here at TPC Wisconsin. And, Joe, how was your morning? You rolled up just a couple of minutes before we went on air. What were you up to, and what are you up to in general right now?
Well, it's been a great morning. Got my normal Friday workout in, 5:30 with my No Logo crew. So got a little sweat in there and looked out into the sky and saw beautiful rain out here. And yes. I know, people that are out here for the golf tournament are probably not feeling the way I am, but after having the driest July of all time and being out in our pasture in the farm yesterday and looking at all the brown grass everywhere that my cattle are trying to eat a little bit, this is some well-deserved, well-needed rain. And if you had 5 minutes on your bingo card before I started talking about cattle and Hall of Fame farms, you're the winner today.
Cash those checks.
You're cashing checks. It's seemingly okay so far for golf. We're not exactly sure what the rain situation is going to be today, but I know my cattle are smiling, as is the farmer over here. And I'm smiling because I get to be on the show. Tausch, again, on vacation.
Shocker.
I'm not sure if we can call it vacation, if it's the standard. It's more like when he's here, it's a bit of a surprise that he's a guest on the show. So I'm the one that gets the benefit of being able to fill in for him every now and then and getting to see your fine faces. And, there's a chance that we get Wilde back here possibly and get to hear from him again, because I'm dying to hear how Packers training camp is going. And it's that time of year where you're smelling the grass clippings. And as a guy who used to play in the NFL, this is the best time of the year. The excitement, the anticipation of football season right around the corner. How's your morning been?
It's been good. I got my bubbler here. I got some cookies. I'll have to give you one during our first break. I'm feeling fantastic. And it looks like Jason is back and ready to roll. Jason, how are you doing this morning?
I'm going to take the rest of the day off. I'm going to go cover training.
All right.
Camp. You and Joe have this totally under control. We had apparently some sort of technical glitch here at Lambeau. So, great to hear that Joe's happy about the rain. We certainly want our Hall of Fame beef cattle to be well fed. Again, where I'm going to most likely eat is Gotham bagels. So I want to make sure that the eggs are the way they need to be on my salt bagel on my number 2. But it's great to have you. You're obviously very focused on your bovine and your other pursuits. I am curious though, when training camp comes, do you get like a little bit of an itch to be playing football still? Do you get I'm glad I'm not playing football anymore? What do you get this time of year?
I get that itch like I've been bit by a mosquito, where it's like, oh man, I'm scratching and I'm going, whew. I am glad I do not have to go out there and strap the pads up anymore. It's hard enough to get out of bed after a nice yoga session. I can't imagine what it'd be like trying to block a guy like a Micah Parsons day in and day out like I used to do. So I love this time of year because I don't have to go to training camp anymore. I don't have to lose 10 pounds of sweat in every practice, and I get to still enjoy it on the sidelines, being able to go up to Packers OTAs in the spring and going to Cleveland on Wednesday, actually getting a chance to work with their offensive line and enjoying the Hall of Fame festivities that are coming up right around the corner. I think a week from today is the Gold Jacket Dinner. We're serving our Hall of Fame CAB, Certified Angus Beef, to all the Gold Jacket members this year, which is quite an honor. And then the Hall of Fame game and enshrinement, the kickoff to the season right around the corner.
So the Hall of Famer with his Hall of Fame beef is feeding Hall of Famers? That's right. Amazing.
It just seems normal.
It's good that you've got a connection there in Canton. That's awesome. We're going to talk a lot of Packers during the time that I am down at practice, and I know we will talk a fair amount of Badgers as well. I am a little bit curious, though, because you just mentioned, the itch and being glad you're not practicing. Look, they're not in pads. They weren't in pads Wednesday. They weren't in pads yesterday. They're not in pads today. They have a day off, a mandatory day off tomorrow, and then they go back to practice Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. At some point, they'll put the pads on. Your rookie year was 2007. So, you came along as we got a little bit smarter about training camp than we were when Tausch was a rookie, and he's doing double days, 4 straight days in pads right out the chute. But when you look at the way teams prepare in 2026, do you view it as smarter or softer or somewhere in between?
It's both. I think it is smarter. I think understanding the wear and tear that doing double days and doing pads every single day, especially as the players have consistently gotten bigger and stronger and faster and more physical, I think it only makes sense for the health and safety of the players and for, honestly, the good of the game long term, right? The beatings that guys took, like Tauscher, myself, I mean, when I started, we'd practice twice in pads, and they would be about 2.5 to 3 hours, both practices. Then we would do only one practice, but then we'd still lift weights for an hour, and we'd still have an hour walkthrough. So, yes, you only had 1 3-hour practice, but it was still a beating that your body took, and it was drudgery the whole way through. And I'm feeling it today. Like, the joints, I had the hip replaced already, got plenty of arthritis. I do my best to eat the right things and take care of myself, but I think the beating that the body and the mind took was unsustainable for the game of football long term, the way that we used to do it, because a lot of people forget, 30 years ago, a big lineman was 290, and if he ran under 5 seconds in the 40, like, that was moving. Now we got guys like Jordan Davis in Philly, 360, running, 4.9s. And so the physicality of the game has gone up so much because guys have been training, they've been eating better, they've been doing it since they were in high school. We understand so much more about how to make big, strong, fast athletes. And so it's just a much more violent game. And I think the other part of it is it does make you a little bit softer not being able to be in pads and callous your body the way that we used to in training camp. And so there is a bit of a give and take, but I think overall it is good for the game to be able to make it safer long-term, allow guys to play a little bit longer, to stay healthier, to not have the wear and tear when they leave the game quite as much as they used to have. But it's still the greatest game of all time. In my opinion, it's the greatest team sport. It's the most entertaining. Clearly, it's America's favorite sport. And the entertainment value is as high as it's ever been, because now that you don't play as much smash mouth football, not as much tight end, fullback stuff, 21 personnel, you're not as physical in training camp. The games are a little bit less physical, but they're a lot more wide open. You get a lot more receivers. You get a lot more space out there on offense. And so you're able to showcase athleticism of guys like Micah Parsons, guys like Myles Garrett, who used to be in Cleveland, now in L.A. You're seeing quarterbacks, they have to be able to run. They have to be able to utilize that space to threaten defenses. And so I think the game has just continued to progress and get better, and I think it's gotten smarter. But there is a little bit of softness now to it, and you know what? That's okay. It's a softer generation these days. These kids today, they're not tough like we used to be when you had to walk uphill both ways in snow in August in Wisconsin.
So, but at the same time, because you're going to be, you just said you're going to be at Brown's camp in a couple days here. I'm curious if whether it's Todd Monken or Matt LaFleur when you were up here during the offseason program, if they came to you and said, Joe, we think what we do now is smarter than what you did as a player, but we also don't want and I hate using the word softness. That's not the word I want to use there. But whatever it is, the effect of not having that body get calloused to the physicality, like, I totally understand the balancing act, right? Like Brian Bulaga, who is going to cousin sub for us at some point next week, and I talked to last night on the Homer Hour. You're talking about a guy who tore his ACL on family night during a goal line period that was full contact. And he was going to be their left tackle. Finally, after all the years playing right tackle, in 2013, he was going to be the left tackle, tears his ACL on family night, misses the season. And it was because he got rolled up on, because they were in pads, and because it was full contact. You don't want that stuff to happen at this time of year. At the same time, Jeff Hafley's down in Miami, and he's having his guys tackle some. He thinks that's important. So if Matt or if Todd Monken came to you and said, all right, Joe, we want to toughen these guys a little bit. We still want them to be moist like a Hall of Fame Wagyu beef, but we also want to we want to crisp them up a little bit.
Crispy on the outside. That's what you want.
Tender on the inside.
Oh, now let's go to lunch.
What would you say? What would you say in terms of like what do you think is the proper amount to get calloused while also not putting your players at a higher risk than you want?
There's a lot of minutia around a conversation like this, and I love talking about it because it's stuff that we've talked about in the locker room for decades. And I actually do like what Jeff Hafley is doing because I think going through the tackling and the rolling and the physicality is important to understand how to do it safely. There's actually a little bit of a movement in sports science with strength coaches that want to have guys falling on the ground because it's like a kid, right? You see kids, they're falling down all the time. When you do things repeatedly, you get better at them. You have more body control. So you understand when you are tackling people, you know how to fall safely. You know how to get those guys on the ground. And so I think that's an important part of the game that the coaches that are playing within the rules that maybe are too concerned with injuries move away from, and it hurts them actually because we had a lot of injuries with guys when you come through a training camp that you're not tackling to the ground and all of a sudden you go to the preseason or even the regular season and now you're taking guys down. Guys don't know how to tackle, and they're so excited to go in there and smash somebody and throw their shoulder in that they're reckless. They're out of control. And so I think you do need to practice a certain amount of that, and you need to find ways to be able to practice it and drill it without actually just having a live goal line period, like you mentioned, to be able to get those reps in. And the reason I love the rules the way they are right now, because it rewards coaches who understand how to practice without pads, but still get that physicality, that tackling practice, that blocking practice, that falling to the ground practice that you need, but it rewards the coaches and the players who know how to get that out of themselves and out of their team, still using the rules that are around the game of the NFL right now. And I think that's the great part about it. You know, you always heard Bill Belichick was always pushing back when he was in the NFL, when I was there, against the players union, when we would make rules around, you know, the amount of time you can be on the field, the amount of practices that you can have in pads. And he was always complaining about it, right? But the good coaches know how to coach better under those circumstances, and that's why my guy Kyle Shanahan, who I always said is the best coach that I've ever been around, he loved those rules not practicing in pads because he was able to get physicality even without putting the pads on. He was able to get that out of his players with the way he coached, the way he instructed, the way he taught his coaches, the way he set up his drills and his practices to still get his players to practice physical, to practice hard, even if it was only 2 hours and even if they didn't have pads on. And so I think it really benefits, and you're able to see the players and the coaches separate who understand how to play within the rules without practicing in pads, whereas the coaches who don't know how to do it other than just being a military general and, hey, line up 3 hours, put your hand in the dirt, we're going to be doing log rolls and we're going to be doing, one-on-ones all day. And so I think in the end it's good. And I'll make one more point. I've already been long-winded on this, but defensive backs. Remember a few years ago they changed the rules as far as how much contact and the defensive backs could have with the receivers, right? It went from, hey, we'll let them get away with everything to, well, we want to see more offense. So we're going to start throwing a lot more pass interference on the defense. And what that did is it rewarded the defensive backs financially with the guys that knew how to play with their feet and were the best cover guys. They knew how to play without holding. Those are the guys that become much more valuable in a system that is calling a lot more pass interferences. So I think the cream is going to rise to the top. The more restrictions that you have, and you see that in coaching and in playing with the different rules and the restrictions that they've placed on the game today.
We'll circle back to more NFL talk with the Hall of Famer Joe Thomas as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better, a little bit later. But I do want to get to some Badgers talk, and Lord knows Riley is just raring to go on Badgers talk. Luke Fickell's got him all fired up, so we will do that coming up. But first, we do, at least we get to hear from Tausch. We don't get to see Tausch; he's not on the show, but at least we get to hear from him talking about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. He'll tell us about that, and we'll have more next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tosher here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. While you're shopping for new windows and doors, should never include haggling. Pella sticks to straightforward pricing and honest conversations, helping homeowners find the right fit for their home, and they never use high-pressure sales tactics. When you buy direct through Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the same team that manufactures your windows and doors, they also sell them, install them, and service them. Real pricing, premium quality, no game. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
We're not trying to get from A to B. We're trying to get from A to SB, as in the Super Bowl.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Brian Butch here. From high school All-American to Division I to the pros, I know every detail matters when it comes to performance. And right now, Iron Jock is giving you one more reason to gear up. Now through August 2nd, score our best deal on the Iron Jock Basics Bundle. Get a pair of Iron Jock boxers, crew socks, and a t-shirt for just $57.50. Iron Jock products are moisture wicking and powered by silver ion technology to help fight odor-causing bacteria. Iron Jock, built on performance, built to last, built in Wisconsin. Shop now at ironjock.com.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga. Every morning, I talk about traffic backups and slowdowns around Milwaukee. At Sewer Ninjas, they help homeowners avoid a different kind of backup, a sewer backup. Sewer Ninjas is a Wisconsin family-owned company specializing in sewer camera inspections, drain cleaning, and trenchless repairs that can often be completed without tearing up your yard. Their goal is simple: find problems early and help homeowners avoid costly surprises. Learn more at sewerninjas.com. That's sewerninjas.com.
For 250 years, America has moved forward together. One generation, one family, one community at a time. At the Kunis Auto Group, we're proud to celebrate 250 years of freedom, progress, and the journeys that unite us. To mark this historic milestone, we're giving away 11 brand new vehicles with a total retail value of more than $250,000. Go online for one entry. Plus, enter in person at any Kunis Auto location, and it counts for 10 entries. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older to enter. It's our way of saying thank you to the communities we serve and the customers who trust us to be part of their journey. Plus, we have over 1,776 vehicles under 30 grand group-wide, with payments for every budget. Happy 250th anniversary, America. Let's keep America moving together. See official rules and find your nearest location at shopkunis.com.
This is Aaron Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, with my brother and business partner, Eric Brown. Siding Unlimited is Milwaukee's choice for siding, windows, roofing, and doors.
Siding Unlimited delivers on expectations because our experience, integrity, and craftsmanship come through on every project.
For new siding, windows, roofing, and doors, call 262-567-4513 or go to sidingunlimited.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-316-5454. That's 800-316-5454. 800-316-5454.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Wilde Tausch rolls on with Ryan Wollersheim in the theoretical Jesse Nelson seat, and Riley Yauk and the Hall of Famer Joe Thomas out at TPC, Wisconsin for the Wisconsin Women's Championship. Riley, you are a Badger through and through. You wear your Big Ten shirts to SEC baseball tournaments.
Correct.
I know how proud you are to be a Badger. How were you feeling this week when we heard from the head coach of the football team talking about how much has changed over the last 9 months in the program?
I was fired up. I mean, everyone saw Luke Fickell during Big Ten Media Days during that 15-minute press conference on the Big Ten Network, and you could just tell he's sounding different. He's sounding more excited. And I had the opportunity. He held court with the Badgers beat for a half hour before he did that. And then he talked on the podium for 45 minutes afterwards to a big group of reporters from all across the conference. And his tone was the exact same from when he was just talking to the Badgers beat to when he was on national TV to when he was talking to the Big Ten reporters. You can tell there's a different confidence, there's a different belief in this year's team, and it seems to stem for the most part from his belief in the current leadership in that locker room when it comes to the players. And he cited the youth movement of last year. He name-dropped Cooper Catalano, Mason Posa, exactly who you'd think would have spearheaded that youth movement, and how last year those young guys, they came in, they could have gone either way last season. But the young guys, they came in and they did not care who was on the other side of the football. They were going to try and take it to them. And that permeated the entire locker room. The older guys took a step back, let those young guys lead, and now that leadership, that belief in themselves, they got those 2 big upset wins, seems to have continued throughout the offseason. And now you add that influx of NIL money, which also is certainly a reason for confidence. You can't ignore that. You add that in there, and it sounds like across the board, everyone is a lot more fired up and believing heading into this season for Wisconsin.
Do you think the team is – sorry, Will. Yeah, sorry about that, Wilde. I'm going to cut you off for a second. I'm super curious. Do you think that Fickell is approaching this training camp differently because of those things that you mentioned?
I think physically, for sure, with how they're training, like just practically, he said they're approaching training camp differently. Him and the strength coach, Brady Collins, have looked into that, trying to prevent injuries. So quite literally, they're approaching training camp differently. But I don't know if mentally, I guess, what specifically are you talking? You went through these training camps. You know what these are like. What exactly would be different that Luke Fickell could approach here outside of just their routines are slightly different? The way they're practicing is slightly different to try and prevent future injuries this season.
Yeah, you're looking at the situation that they're going into the season. Everybody knows this is kind of a make-or-break year for Coach Fickell. You've got a new athletic director. Things haven't been as expected or as hoped up until this point. And so he's got to show significant progress if he wants to stick around and keep that job. One of the things he's talked about is that they weren't tough enough in previous years. And so as a guy who's had a lot of rookie coaches, first-time coaches throughout my time in Cleveland, I knew that when a coach came in and said, we weren't tough enough last year, it was going to be a tough training camp. It was going to be physical. There was going to be a lot of banging. It was going to be long practices. They were going to put a premium on who are the guys that want to be here and that show it week in and week out. Every single practice, they're going to show up and give us everything they have. And so I'm just curious if you think that Coach Fickell is almost going to treat this like he's a rookie coach, where he wants to find out who are the guys that are tough guys that want to be Badgers. And so it's going to be a physical, hard, tough training camp this season.
Yes, in that sense, then yes. I think he is definitely approaching this training camp differently. Tough, nasty, disciplined. He has said it multiple times. He said it when he appeared on this show a couple of weeks ago. He said it earlier this week, or maybe that was last Friday. Earlier this week. He said it multiple times in every single media session he had. Tough, nasty, disciplined. And then he'd always follow up immediately with, I want this team to be tough, nasty, and disciplined. And this year we have more guys who are tough, nasty, and disciplined. And he cited previously, the past couple of years, they've approached it more as we're a family. We support each other. We love each other. We're building each other up. But that there was a little bit of a lack of accountability in that family. And he said Chris Orr, former Badger, we've had him on the jump around here. He used to be a part of ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day. Great Wisconsin linebacker. He sent a video message to the team about 6.5 minutes long about how it can't just be a family. In a family, you all love each other, but maybe you're not going to call out each other as much. It needs to be a brotherhood. It has to be where if your brother is not holding up his end of the bargain, you got to get on his ass. You got to tell him, hey, we need your standard to be better. We need you to raise it. And it sounds like that is certainly more of what the case is, and that confrontation is good if the leadership is good. And he says this year there's more confrontation, but there's more leadership, so it's all gelling together well.
I want people that did not hear Luke Fickell say that to hear it, because not everyone did probably hear that. Here is Luke Fickell talking at media days about how things have changed, and as Riley points out, you can definitely hear a different tone from him than you had heard previously.
Probably have not recognized this. Over the last 9 months, there's been a hell of a lot of changes. And to the naked eye and to the fan, I don't know that you could see them all. But to the people from within the program, meaning the players, the coaches, the people that are really close to this team, have seen and felt a difference throughout this entire program. And I'm standing here today in a lot different place than I was in the last 3 years. And I really do mean that. Now, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not saying that we're someplace far off from where we have been, but what we are much different in is our leadership. And about 9 months ago, midway through a season, there were some things that started to happen, and we could have gone one direction or the other, and we were in a really tough situation. But there was some youth within our program that really started to grow and took over in a way that was really, really healthy for us. And we had a group of veteran leaders that kind of understood what was happening and saw it and embraced that as well. And it's really, over the last 9 months, put us in a position that is far, far different than we ever have been since I've been here.
We'll play him talking about being tough, nasty, and disciplined in a moment. I would say this. At this point in the year, all you have are words, right? Because there are no practices going on. There is no evidence. So I don't want to say, well, talk is cheap. Let's see the action, because he hasn't had the chance to show the action yet. But when he says, we're in a much different place than they were the last 3 years, I think it's also fair to say you damn well better be, right? The way the last 3 years have gone. So we'll hear more from Luke Fickell. I saw our friends from Associated Bank at practice yesterday. They're the bank of the Packers. They also told me that they've got a bunch of new stuff coming up with Wisconsin athletics as well. But of course, they are also the bank with Brewers checking from Associated Bank. And whether it's saving at the team store, saving on your tickets, saving on the racing sausages, 5K and 10K, saving on the Brewers Baseball Academy, or being able to tailgate a little bit longer because you get to use the Associated Bank entrance at AmFam Field, they've got your Brewers fandom covered. So make the switch today and sign up for Brewers checking. Go to associatedbank.com/Brewers to find out more. We'll have more with Riley and the Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas from TPC Wisconsin coming up after we hear from Tausch talking about Jones Dairy Farm. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here for Jones Dairy Farm in Fort Atkinson. Jones Dairy Farm has been family-owned and operated for 7 generations in Fort Atkinson, all the way back to 1889. And when you say Jones Dairy Farm, the first thing I think is sausage. They're best known for their all-natural sausage made from the original family recipe. It's available in pork, chicken, and turkey, and it's all made with fresh meat only, and it's all delicious. But you also can't think about Jones Dairy Farm without thinking bacon. It's life-changing. What makes it so special is that it's dry-aged for up to 3 weeks, which leads to intense flavor worth the wait. Jones Dairy Bacon is smoked with real cherry wood and hickory hardwood. Jones Dairy Farm also makes naturally smoked ham and Canadian bacon, Braunschweiger, and fully cooked meatballs. Visit the Jones Market, open Thursday through Saturday, just down the road from the Fireside Dinner Theater in Fort Atkinson. And find Jones products in grocery stores across Wisconsin. To make it easier, check the product finder on their website, jonesdairyfarm.com.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Life's better under our roof. At Grimal & Associates with American Family Insurance, we know life isn't one size fits all. That's why we help protect what matters most: your home, your car, and the people who count on you. Ben Brust here for Grimal & Associates. Bundle your home and auto insurance to simplify coverage and save on the policies you need most. Contact Grimal & Associates Insurance today at 414-332-0838.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Most contractors cut corners and disappear when there's a problem. Not us. Since 1997, we've completed over 60,000 projects, earned thousands of 5-star reviews, and were named 2025 Roofing Magazine Contractor of the Year. We set the standard for exterior remodeling, trusted by homeowners, proven every single day. We're excited to show you why choosing Infinity means peace of mind. Visit infinityexteriors.com to see why your neighbors trust Infinity.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Dutch Boy's Durafighter interior paint is a paint and primer in one with a tough, lasting formula. It provides great scrub resistance and durability with remarkable hide and a smooth finish. Save big on Dutch Boy's Durafighter paint and start your next project today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Since January, I've already lost 40 pounds and dropped a couple pant sizes. This program has been simple, safe, and their team has helped me every step of the way. Best of all, it's built to help keep the weight off for good. If you're looking for a weight loss program that works, Milwaukee Weight Loss is it. For a limited time, get $200 off with our summer special. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
Your premier Michigan golf getaway includes rounds at Sweetgrass and Sage Run. Book Monday through Wednesday for best availability. Savor elevated dining and unwind at the full-service Drift Spa between rounds. Grab quick bites in the expanded Sage Run Clubhouse or refresh overlooking the 9th and 18th at Sweetgrass. It's all part of an unforgettable golf experience at Island Resort and Casino. Plan your getaway at islandresortgolf.com.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Over the past couple of years. Well, maybe one is coming up. The sale of a company, death, divorce, a health crisis, or helping to pay for college or a wedding. Well, Annex Wealth Management has assisted clients with life events, but planning for them can make all the difference. Knowing what you own, why you own it, and how much you're paying for it is a big part of smart financial planning. Annex has an entire in-house team that works together so you can make informed decisions when life events come up. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
The NFL is back.
The Packers.
Continuing on Wilde Tausch with Riley Yauk and the Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. Does everyone just call you that? They call you the Hall of Famer Joe Thomas, or do they, beef magnate? What do they put in front of your name generally when they're talking about you?
A lot of beef magnet, but a lot of my friends in Ohio, they call me the Hoff. Keep it short because, if you're always saying the Hall of Famer, you're going to run out of voice there. A little wordy for a name.
I'm partial to the bagel. I guess Joey Bagels is a different person, as I learned when I ate there when I was in Madison.
Yes, I'm not Joey Bagels.
When you say I'm friends with Joe at Gotham Bagels, they assume that you mean Joey Bagels, not you. Which I learned.
Who's Joey Bagels?
Joey Bagels, the legend. Wilde had a great experience meeting Joey Bagels. So he's my partner at Gotham Bagels. He's the founder. He's the chef. He's always there, and he is a treat. He is, if you can close your eyes and imagine a Sicilian in New York in a bagel shop, and then all of a sudden take everything around that and you put him into Madison, Wisconsin, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, I think I got a pretty good picture.
in a John Starks Knicks jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, not like a Mitchell and Ness throwback that you bought brand new, like one that he was wearing when Starks was playing type jersey. So, yes, he's New York through and through, just like Joe is Wisconsin and Cleveland through and through. I want to get back to the Badgers. I did want to ask you something Packers-ish, Packers adjacent, because we talked to two Packers Hall of Famers yesterday in Earl Dotson and Tramon Williams. Earl Dotson played right tackle for the Packers. He was the guy that was the guy before Tausch, and then Bulaga was the guy after Tausch. But he played his entire career in Green Bay. Tramon Williams left for a while, came back for another stint, spent 10 of his 14 seasons in Green Bay. You referenced earlier in this conversation Myles Garrett, who is now in Los Angeles. But you played your entire career in Cleveland. There was some talk about you being traded to the Broncos. I certainly was trying to get you traded here. Is there something different when you just get to play in one place? Do you think your legacy, your career, other than not having, Super Bowls and playoff
Sorry, I had something in my throat there, Wilde.
Is it different?
It is. And it's not something I don't think you appreciate while you're playing. You're going through an NFL season. They're long. They're tough. You got to deal with a Pro Bowler every single week playing on the edge against you. And so your eyes are just right in front of your feet. And you're just focused on the here and now and what I can do to help my team win and making sure I'm prepared and at my best come Sunday. But I think as you get close to retirement and then when you retire and then you realize the connection that you have with the fan base, with the organization is so much stronger when you've just played in one place and when all the fans just know you with one helmet on. And it's something that's become more rare as we've gone along and free agency has become more prevalent and trades have become more prevalent. A lot of these front office guys, they kind of come from that baseball analytics mindset where they're trying to gain minute advantages by trading players and trading draft choices. And there's a lot more player movement than there used to be. And so I think it makes it even more special then for a guy like me who played all 11 years in one spot because of that connection that you have with the fan base, with the location, and with the organization.
Joe, building off that real quick, what is it like actually as a player? What is your relationship like with fans? Because I know what it's like as a fan or a media member, but I'm really curious, especially for you who had a Hall of Fame career in one place in Cleveland. What is your relationship like with Browns fans now, then and now? What is that?
Yeah, I would say overwhelmingly positive and awesome because now I'm one of them. And I think one of the connections I always had with the Browns fan base was, hey, I grew up in Wisconsin. I grew up a massive Packer fan. I was a Packer fan. That was my identity. That's how it is when you grow up in this state. And Browns fans are the same way. Their identity is with the Cleveland Browns. That's how they live their year. It's like it's either Brown season or it's the off season and it's the draft, which sometimes it's kind of our Super Bowl, depending on the the success or failures of the previous season. And so I think that I always saw myself as a fan and always just appreciated the blessing of being able to play in the NFL and play for some incredible fans and the loyalty that they had and the loyalty that I gave them by sticking around and trying to build something great in Cleveland. So it was an awesome relationship back then when I was playing, and it is still to this day. We're going back on Wednesday with our Hall of Fame Farms freezer trailer, and we're going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame Fan Fest, and we'll be selling burgers and smoking briskets and selling our frozen Wagyu steaks out of the trailer. And it's so fun being able to talk to fans, especially now because I'm a fan. I'm like them, right? And we can talk about the team. We can get excited the same way. We can get disappointed the same way. But when you were playing and we didn't have the success, I would say 10% of it was not the greatest relationship because, as you know, when your team is losing and not doing what you think they should, everybody's got that stink on them, no matter how much deodorant you try to spread all across the team and the organization. So it's tough at times when you do lose and you don't have that success because you have that fan base that is that loyal and passionate. But overwhelmingly, like, you go out and you give everything you have. You appreciate the opportunity to be a professional athlete and play in the NFL, which is most fans' wildest dream. And you give them everything you got. You represent their values on the field, and I think they're going to love you, even if maybe you don't have great success throughout your career.
I'm going to call an audible. You played with a lot of quarterbacks in Cleveland. Was anybody good at calling audibles, or were they all...
9. Maybe Jake Delhomme, but he could call an audible, and at that point in his career, he couldn't execute said audible.
So here's what we're going to do, because I want to play, because, again, not everybody – I caught it after the fact because I wasn't watching when Luke Fickell was on with Tausch and Matt LaFleur. I want people to hear that because we are going to hear the phrase tough, nasty, disciplined a lot. I want you guys to talk about that because, Riley, you know this team a lot better than me, spending as much time as you do around the badge. So we're going to push trivia to a little bit later in the show when I head to practice. I'm going to head to Matt LaFleur's press conference. You guys are going to discuss some more Badgers in my absence, but not until after we hear from Tausch telling us about UW Credit Union. He's a member. I'm a member. If you don't even have to be a UW alum to be a member, but it's great to be a member of UW Credit Union. Here's Tausch telling us about that. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
You know, UW Credit Union, I say it all the time, it is here for every you, proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach your financial goals. They are all across the state. They have a great app, easy to work, and it is a pleasure to be a partner and a member of UW Credit Union. Join today, like I did, at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
We're not trying to get from A to B. We're trying to get from A to SB, as in the Super Bowl.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here from MoMA. Battling a sore knee, a shoulder, elbow, hand, neck, back, or foot pain? MoMA can get you back in the game. MoMA is the new Midwest Orthopedic and Musculoskeletal Alliance, connecting trusted local providers like OIW, SMOC, and Innovative Pain, with expert care and innovative treatments provided in their offices. The Surgery Center, Ortho Laser, Smart Scan, or MOSH. With the best orthopedic care and recovery, MoMA can get you back to doing what you love. Call or walk in today. Visit MoMAMKE.com. That's MoMAMKE.com.
At Associated Bank, we thought about speaking like other banks with hoity-toity names like Total Privilege Pay or something. But we don't speak bankish, we speak your language. When we say 2-day early pay, we mean you get paid 2 days early. $50 overdraft grace zone? That's a grace zone of up to $50 if overdrafts happen. And maintenance fee free account? Well, that speaks for itself. At Associated Bank, we get you. That's why we've got you. Learn more at associatedbank.com/YouGotThis. Member FDIC.
Join Cousins Club Rewards today. Grab your first sub and your next one could be free.
After your first qualifying purchase, you'll earn a free sub and start collecting points for free food, exclusive deals, and even Cousins gear. Sign up today. It's fast and easier than ever on the Cousins Subs app. Earn points online, on the app, or in store. However you enjoy Cousins Subs, your rewards are right at your fingertips. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. With over 40 years of experience saving businesses money, we are on a mission to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Try saying that 5 times fast. Do you lose sleep at night trying to figure out how to make the next payroll? Are your vendors lined up outside the door? Are you cash on delivery? We can help. We have a proven process and strategy to turn your cash-sucking business into a cash-generating machine, so you can keep that cash in your pocket. It really works. We use it in our business, and many clients are successfully using it in their business. Ask Pam, who recently bought a business and asked us to help her see through the fog. Would you like to sleep at night knowing your bills are paid, take a vacation, or go out to eat with your spouse? You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us at 414-325-2040 to set up a complimentary consultation. That's 414-325-2040, or visit us at nealgroup.net. That's Neal Group.net.
You already know that Kessler's is the world's. It certainly makes me feel good.
Tell me why.
Well, everyone's always in a good mood, and everything is clean and sparkling and romantic and happy.
It feels like sunshine and rainbows, doesn't it?
Sarah, that's exactly what it feels like.
When you're having a great day, come to Kessler's.
Have some coffee and let us clean your jewelry.
Our jewelry cleaning equipment is completely different than what you have at home.
And we're delighted to do it for free, of course.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Wilde Tausch rolls on. Riley Elk alongside the Pro Football Hall of Famer, Badgers legend Joe Thomas here at TPC Wisconsin. Going to be talking some Badgers. I already brought up Luke Fickell's mantra that he's really been hammering home this offseason is tough, nasty, disciplined. I actually saw a video of the almost completed Kellner Family Athletics Center yesterday, and it looks like he's going to have that permanently portrayed in his office in LED letters as well. So certainly a major aspect of Fickell's ideology when it comes to coaching football. Let's hear what he had to say on this very program last week about his mantra in tough, nasty discipline.
We know inside this program what we want our identity to be. Our job is to see what we promote, what we permit, and ultimately what we put on film as our identity. And, you know, we want to be a tough, nasty, and disciplined football team. And I really do believe with the leadership and the things that we've done and how we've grown it, and to be quite honest with you, you know it, with the adversity that we've taken, right? The punches we've taken the last year in particular, the ones that want to be about that, the ones that want that to be their identity and this identity as we grow this program are the ones that are here.
Joe, before I get your immediate reactions on that full statement, did Coach Alvarez or Coach Bielema your senior season, did they ever have a phrase or a mantra like tough, nasty discipline?
Yeah, I think most coaches that I've played for have that phrase that wants to embody the identity that they want the team to take over. And so a lot of times it's different every year. One of the things Coach Alvarez would say to us a lot when I first got there that I thought was really awesome, and I mentioned it in my Hall of Fame speech, and it was something that I think he was particularly good at when he was at Wisconsin, was taking a 17, 18-year-old boy that's a high school kid and turning him into a man as a freshman going through the Wisconsin program. And it started with how they worked. It started with how they practiced. You know, we always said nobody practices harder on the field. Nobody works longer and harder in the weight room. And we felt that we developed our team a lot in that weight room in the off season with the way that we trained together. We were competitive in the weight room, running stadiums with each other, getting in and doing our fourth quarter where we're pushing sleds in the old McLean Indoor. We're bear crawling up and down the ramp, and we're encouraging each other, and we're building that brotherhood that you mentioned earlier in the show. And Coach Alvarez would always say, nobody cares. Right, and it was harsh as a young boy coming into Wisconsin, because we'd walk into the meeting room, he'd be like, "Hey, Joe Thomas, how you doing today?" And you'd start saying, like getting deep into your feelings. "Well, Coach, I had a math test," and before you finish, you'd say, "Nobody cares, just work." And it was such a great mantra, because it helped you understand the beauty of a team. And the great thing about a football program and a football team is that when you walk through that door and you're into that building, you're able to leave all your problems on the outside. You don't have to bring them in. As a matter of fact, it's a mandate that you don't bring them in, because in that building, everybody's equal. It's a brotherhood, and it's a one single-minded goal that you're all working towards. And it's a beautiful thing once you're able to understand that and learn that we're sacrificing for each other, because I care more about the guy next to me than I care about myself. And so that was one of the things that really stuck with me when I was there with Coach Alvarez, and the tough, nasty discipline with Coach Fickell. I think that's great, because that's exactly what he wants his team to be, because he believes, and I kind of agree with him, that the difference that they need to make in this year's team versus the past few years is they need to be the most physical team on the field every single game, and they need to be the toughest team on the field. And they want, in that fourth quarter, to have guys that are willing to go further and farther than they even believed was possible, because they're wearing that W on their helmet and they care for their brothers that are around them. And I think that's the type of team that he wants, and he's doing it not just with his words, but with how they're going to be practicing in training camp. And then also their style, right? Talked about on offense, he's bringing back fullback. Yep. He's bringing lead blocking packages, and you're seeing a little bit more of the throwback to the days when I was in Wisconsin, the 90s with Alvarez, and the 2000s with Alvarez and Christ and Bielema, and those tough, nasty, hard-nosed, physical teams that nobody wanted to line up and play against them. Even the teams like your Ohio States, they may feel like we are a better team, but we still don't want to play Wisconsin, because it's going to be a bloodbath when we go out there.
Now, going back to the clip, you touched on it a little bit, but listening to Fickell talk about tough, nasty discipline, what gets you most excited listening to that? Or, like a lot of fans, I understand if fans want to be more skeptical. Show me. Prove it to me. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to get excited till I see it on the field.
Different. And every coach says this year is going to be different if you're coming off of a bad year or a few bad years. But the things that Coach Fickell is doing, we mentioned that emphasis on tough, nasty, disciplined, emphasis on the fullback, the emphasis on the leadership, the accountability, not just being a family, but being a brotherhood who's not afraid to call people out if they're not doing the right things. I think those are awesome. But seeing Coach Fickell last week on Friday, I got a chance to take my no-logo workout group to Camp Randall Stadium, running the stadium steps, getting into the weight room for the last day in the old weight room before they tear it down and they move to the new facility. We saw Coach Fickell in there working out in the morning like he usually was. Talked to him, and he's got this quiet confidence about him that I see going into this season that I didn't really see in years past. And I think it's because of a lot of the things that he's been talking about and that we've been talking about on this show. But one thing we haven't mentioned specifically is they've got twice as much money in NIL this year as they have previously.
Certainly helps.
Which has put them in the game for a lot of the talent that was out there that they had been pursuing but not able to land because they weren't able to pay a competitive rate compared to what the other teams were paying. And so with that addition of money equals talent in both the NFL and college sports now. And I think with the leadership and in the infusion of that identity that he wants from his team, I mean, he was a great wrestler. We know wrestlers are very tough, great nose guard as an undersized player. And you always want your teams to reflect your identity, your values. And he's seeing that already. And I think that's why when you talk to him and you see him up there at the podium at Big Ten Media Day, you're seeing and hearing that quiet confidence. He's not going to go out there and say, we're going to win 11 games or we're going to win the Big Ten, but he's saying it's going to be different this year.
Mm-hmm. And I know for fans that weren't there at Big Ten Media Days, one of the things Fickell told us, reporters, was that there were guys who wouldn't step foot on campus because before this year, the money wasn't there. The money wasn't good enough. So their agent, because now these college athletes have agents, would tell them, hey, my guy, he is not going to step foot. He is not going to talk to you until the money reaches this number. And now, at a bare minimum, the money they have is getting to that number where they'll at least talk to guys, and clearly that has made a big difference. Riley Yauk, Joe Thomas, the Pro Football Hall of Famer. Jason Wilde is currently at Matt LaFleur's press conference. He will be back next segment to break that down for us. But, Joe, you raise your hand if you have a –
Yeah, I was going to just say, as you're kind of breaking down the beginning of Luke Fickell's tenure and, what went wrong, right? Everybody kind of wants to know. And one of the things that I've kind of settled on in my mind after talking to a bunch of guys is, you have the NIL and the transfer portal, all those things changing right when he gets here. And we had a program that was very successful for a long time. They were very good, I would say. And Chris McIntosh came in here, brought Luke Fickell in here. Every team in the country that had a vacancy wanted Luke Fickell because he'd had success wherever he was. Everybody thought he was a great recruiter, a great coach, had amazing success in Cincinnati. So it felt like a no-brainer bringing him here. The problem that they ran into right off the bat was Coach Fickell comes in. He's targeting guys in the recruiting process that are 5-star elite players that, under the old rules where you weren't paying guys, he felt, and I kind of believed him too because of his track record, he would have been able to land those players, right? And so they were targeting and spending their time and effort recruiting those top-end 5-star guys, changing the offense to feature 5-star receivers, opening things up with the run and shoot, run and gun offense. I forget what they call that fancy one that never worked. The old air raid.
Air raid or the veer back in the Don Morton era, I believe.
The veer 3 and out. But they were targeting those guys, so you're spending your time there. But then they didn't have the money to back it up, so they were losing out on those guys. And then because you only have so much time to spend recruiting players, now the guys that maybe they should have been targeting based on the amount of money that they had and that they could pay, they weren't talking to, and they were late to the game too, so they weren't even getting those players. So now you weren't getting the guys you wanted because you didn't have the money that all of a sudden became part of college sports. Now you're not getting the guys that you could have got with the money that you do have because you weren't talking to them. And so you end up trying to put together a roster of basically third-tier guys. And then it becomes difficult, especially when you go away from the hard-nosed, tough, 21 personnel, fullback, couple tight ends, smash mouth. We'll just be tougher than you, and we'll win 7-6. We'll win 14-10. That Barry Alvarez kind of made famous when he first came here. And so you're playing a style that you don't have players that match, and you don't have an ability to shift and change styles, and you're doing it with third-tier guys. And so it was a really difficult situation. Obviously, you can say, well, they should have seen that coming, and you're right. In that position, there's no excuses. You got to be able to get the job done no matter what happens. But all of this to say there's a reason for Coach Fickell's quiet confidence right now, because they've seen the rules of the game now, and they've been able to adjust significantly, and now they have the money behind it. And so with Coach Fickell feeling very, very good about the transfer portal and the guys that they picked up last season, I think it is going to be different. And so I believe him when I'm listening to him at the Big Ten Media Day. But like a lot of fans out there, I want to see it on Saturdays too.
Yes, I certainly agree on that last point. But for those of us who are optimistic, it's not just us saying it. You also have Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas, who's at least a little optimistic heading into this season. And you mentioned recruiting there. And you were vocal about how Wisconsin needs to get back to recruiting the state and recruiting the state of Wisconsin. You look at the class of 2027 for Wisconsin, I believe the Badgers have locked down 8 of the top 10 prospects from the state. That is building a wall, at least in my mind, when you have this elite talent, almost all of it from the states, coming to play in the Cardinal and White. How did you feel seeing that? And does that give you more hope that it's going back to more of the traditional Wisconsin identity moving forward?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. That's one of the things that I've been critical, along with a lot of fans, about Luke Fickell and his staff, was not emphasizing the players within the state of Wisconsin the way Paul Chryst did, Brett Bielema, going back to Barry Alvarez, right? That's what he said when he took over. Hey, let's put a wall around Wisconsin, go out, get some players that we need to fill gaps, but if we can win Wisconsin, we're going to be okay. because he felt confident that he could coach him up. He could build that toughness, that blue-collar approach, that team mentality. And it goes back to what I just said with Coach Fickell. They were targeting those 5-star guys, especially at the skill positions that Wisconsin just historically doesn't produce a lot of. And because they were targeting those guys, by default, you weren't able to spend the time and invest in this state, which is very rich in talent. It may not be rich in quarterback and receiver and defensive back talent, but we got some good offensive linemen. We got some good defensive linemen. We got some good linebackers. We got some guys that can be physical and be impact players on your team. And so I think as part of a reevaluation of everything that they have done at Wisconsin with Coach Fickell, he realized that, hey, we are going to have more money, so we can target still some of those high-end 5-star guys at skill positions that maybe we don't have within the state, but we have plenty of talent within this state. So make sure we're not overlooking the guys that are in our backyard, that are the guys that are dying to be Badgers, because the guys that in the fourth quarter are quitting are the guys that didn't grow up wearing red, wearing white, watching their Badgers as their favorite team. The dudes that go so much further and farther than you can ever imagine when it's hot out, when it's tough, when you're down by 7 and you need to gut it out, are the dudes that have their parents and their families and their friends that are standing and sitting in the stands because they don't want to let them down, because it's always been their dream their whole life to wear cardinal and white, which I'm not even sure if that's the official nomenclature for the colors that the Badgers wear, but they've dreamed their whole life about being a Badger, so they do not want to let their family, their friends, their community down. And that's why it's so important to have that emphasis on recruiting those homegrown kids.
Yeah, and a couple of guys who embody that. One is a homegrown kid, Cooper Catalano, who holds the high school state record for most tackles. And then you have another from out of state in Mason Posa, who became best friends and certainly both in their own way embody what it means to be a Wisconsin Badger and embody that UW pride. And they did that as freshmen. From your career, whether it be at Wisconsin, where they're freshmen or sophomores who took on leadership roles, or from your time in Cleveland on the Browns, were there ever rookies who really took over those leadership roles and kind of gave your teams a spark?
It's very rare to have a guy who's just showing up on campus or just showing up first time in his NFL career to become a leader, because usually you're so busy learning the offense, learning the defense, understanding what the expectations are, that it becomes difficult to kind of play both roles. So that's particularly impressive to me that those guys were such an important part of the leadership of that team as freshmen. But I think it does speak to also the void in leadership overall on those rosters when you do have nobody else that's kind of taking command and holding people accountable. And so on one hand, you're like, well, where the hell were the rest of the leaders? But on the other hand, you're going, wow, what an amazing opportunity to kind of build on that, because if those guys are already taking that leadership role in their first year playing in a program, can you imagine where they're going to be in 3 years? And can you imagine how that spark that they create with the way that they hold everybody accountable, the way that they work, the way that they lead the other young men in that program? It's really fun to think potentially what this could look like in 2 or 3 years as those guys mature and become, 22, 23-year-old men leading that have been in the program a long time and that have allowed their mentality and their values to permeate throughout that program and locker room.
Yeah, it certainly gets me excited, and I'm sure I am not alone when it comes to Badgers fans getting excited about that duo moving forward. Jason has returned from Matt LaFleur's press conference. We will hear about that coming up next. But first, we have to hear from Mark Tauscher about MoMA. Don't go anywhere. This is Wilde Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here, excited to tell you about my friends at MoMA. If you've been putting up with pain in your knee, shoulder, back, neck, don't just tough it out. Believe me, after all those years playing football, I know a thing or two about aches and pains. That's why I've partnered up with MoMA, the Midwest Orthopedic and Musculoskeletal Alliance. MoMA brings together trusted local providers like OIW, SMOC, and Innovative Pain, making it easier to find the right specialist and the right treatment for you. Whether you need care in one of their offices, the surgery center, ortho laser, which is what I've been using, SmartScan, or MOSH, their experienced team is focused on helping you feel better and get back to living your life. Certainly helped me overcome some pretty bad knee pain thanks to the treatment at ortho laser that I've received throughout the summer. MoMA can get you back to doing what you love. Man, I highly recommend seeing their team, as I personally have seen what the right care can do. Call or walk in or learn more at MomaMKE.com. That's MomaMKE.com.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella-certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Vortex Golf makes rangefinders for serious golfers who need an accurate number every time. With 3 options, the Blade, Blade Slope, and Anarch, there's a Vortex rangefinder that fits your game. Crystal clear optics and features like image stabilization keep you steady in big moments. Plus, every Vortex Golf product is backed by a no-questions-asked lifetime warranty. If you're looking for an accurate number every time, Vortex Golf belongs on your bag. Grab yours and everything you need for golf season in Wisconsin at Shields.com.
Your premier Michigan golf getaway includes rounds at Sweetgrass and Sage Run. Book Monday through Wednesday for best availability. Savor elevated dining and unwind at the full-service Drift Spa between rounds. Grab quick bites in the expanded Sage Run Clubhouse or refresh overlooking the 9th and 18th at Sweetgrass. It's all part of an unforgettable golf experience at Island Resort and Casino. Plan your getaway at islandresortgolf.com.
This is Marquette Basketball head coach Shaka Smart. You're listening to the home of Golden Eagle Basketball, 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
Time now for headlines as we predict what will happen on Sunday as the Packers take on the Vikings at Lambeau Field.
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
I'm going to do something crazy.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studio at ESPN Milwaukee.
I'm going to say Keisean Cousins, Pack Bikes tie.
And celebrating 10 great years on ESPN Wisconsin.
He missed it again! And will end this crazy game in a tie. Oh, my goodness.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with the Hall of Famer, the Hoff. Why do I think of like Susanna Hoffs of the Bengals when I say the Hoff?
You can think of David Hasselhoff. That would be a better other Hoff,
sure.
maybe.
Are you running shirtless down the beach alongside?
Well, you never know. There's a price for anything, right?
I miss the gray beard. It's good to see that has gone away for a little while. You look much younger. Speaking of young, Riley Yauk alongside the Hoff at TPC Wisconsin for the Wisconsin Women's Championship. All right, we've got some breaking news from Matt LaFleur, who spoke moments ago, right around the corner in the media auditorium, and him announcing, well, he didn't really announce it. Andy Herman noticed that in a photo of Tucker Kraft on his way to practice, he had his helmet, which is a pretty good giveaway that he's going to be doing some actual football because he did not do that the first 2 days. He is off the physically unable to perform list. He will do individual drills. Obviously, you don't throw him into team drills right away, but this is the one significant change. They do a walkthrough at Lambeau Field every night at 6:15. he'll be able to take part in that now because he's off the PUP list. Joe, we know it was 10,000. Help me out with the rest of that.
363
consecutive snaps. Did you ever spend time in preseason, in training camp, on the PUP list?
Never went on the PUP list. Had a number of off-season surgeries, even in the middle of that streak, cleaning up, broken knee cartilage and meniscus tears and stuff like that. But always was able to come back and be healthy going into training camp. Now, that doesn't mean I practiced every day in training camp, but at least they didn't put me on the PUP.
So you've always been physically unable to perform. You've never been physically unable to perform.
Yeah, I was physically unable to practice, but I could perform on Sundays, which is the time that matters.
So when you had to take kind of an adjusted schedule, which is what Tucker Kraft will now be on, now that he's off the PUP list, what is kind of the return to play process like? Because you have your fundamentals, you obviously have played a ton of games, but you need to kind of shake the rust off. What's he going to be up against these next few days as he gets back into the swing of things?
Well, anytime you got a guy that's coming back from significant injury, like I'll reflect back on my ACL that I tore when I was a junior in college at Wisconsin. So kind of ease my way back into training camp. What they want to see is when you're going through rehab and you're doing things full speed, that's still a different tempo, a different ability and expectations to be able to cut and avoid injury than a practice. And so you're going to want to get that guy out there in a controlled setting so that you can see how he moves, and you want to make sure that his body is in balance, right? If you've got an ACL, you're going to probably favor that other leg for a while until your brain is able to rewire the pattern and you're actually not thinking about it. It becomes subconscious to be able to run and cut. But that takes a while because when you're coming back from an ACL, it's 6-9 months where you don't feel right. You're favoring that other leg coming out of surgery, you're on crutches, and then maybe 2-3 months, you might be walking on it, but you're really favoring the other leg. You're putting the weight on the other leg. And so it takes a while to kind of rewire your brain to say, hey, I'm okay. And so the training staff wants to watch you out there before they put you out in a live bullet drill to make sure that you can protect yourself, to make sure that you can focus on playing football and that your body is in balance to be at your best. And so that's why they ease guys in. And also there's a bit of load management that happens in a situation like that because you've got a lot of damage that happened in your knee from the injury and then the surgery. And as you're coming back, you're going to have a day of ramped up physical activity, more than you've done since the surgery. And then you need a day of rest where they can evaluate, like, how sore did that get? Because they're not going to go back in and look in that knee. They want to know, like, hey, is everything looking good? How is it responding as we add more load? And we add more load, is it swelling up? Is there an issue that we need to now kind of back him off? Or does he have a practice, comes next day in the training room, not practicing, but he still feels good. He looks good. It doesn't look like he's had any type of setbacks from an injury standpoint with extra swelling, soreness, where he's back to favoring the other knee. And so I think it's important that you go through that process of just re-indoctrinating a guy to full speed cutting, to hitting, to not thinking about that injury, to be able to go out there and be at their best and practice and know that, hey, it's important to have them as soon as possible, but really we want our key guys the second half of the season. We want them down the stretch because we know that if they're at their best and they're feeling 100% come December and January, that gives our team the best chance to win a Super Bowl. And that's what we're trying to do. If we have a guy that we push out there a little bit too soon and then all of a sudden we have to back him off because he's having a ton of soreness, a ton of swelling like later in the season, that hurts everybody. And so it's a very smart, mindful approach to ease these guys back in.
Joe, the one thing that Tucker Kraft said that, and again, it's his knee, so he gets to feel however he wants to feel about his knee. But the one thing that I was a little bit, I didn't quite understand was his argument was that somebody asked him about trusting his knee, and he said, well, it happened, this wasn't a non-contact injury, right? Sean Ryan went flying into him, and that's how he tore his ACL against Carolina. But coming back from it, I feel like it doesn't necessarily matter how you did it, because whether it's contact like his or Micah Parsons, which was non-contact, you still have to come back from it essentially the same way, right? I don't remember I just know that you were playing defensive end when you tore your ACL. Is there you talk about the psychological part of that. Is he, I don't want to say kidding himself, but he's still going to go through that trusting process and thinking about it, isn't he? There's no way you can avoid that when you're going through it, is there?
You're partially right. The psychological process is the last thing that happens. My knee injury when I was in college playing defense, tore my right ACL. It was non-contact. And so in my mind, when I was going back out there for 9 months from the time that I tore it until, a little bit into the season, I had this thought of, why did that happen? Like, I've been running and cutting my whole life. Was I doing something different in that moment where I stepped a little bit outside of my bubble that I should be operating within, and I put a little bit too much load and leverage on that knee, which caused the knee to collapse and me to tear my ACL? Was it how I was training? Was it how I was moving on the field? Was I running and trying to cut too much now for a guy that's 310 or 15 pounds that used to be 250 pounds? And so I think there's a psychological part that you have to get over that takes just getting on the field and having reps when you go through a non-contact injury like that you hurt yourself versus somebody hurt you, which is part of the game and you've dealt with your whole life playing football. But for the very first time in your life, you've significantly hurt yourself, and you're constantly wondering why that happened and is it going to happen again?
We will have more of Joe's insights. We're going to play trivia when I walk down to practice. Next, we are going to get to, and Joe, you were, when our show started, you were busy, finishing your career, doing Thursday night football. You were certainly a friend of our show from the very jump that you became available, but I'm not sure you're going to fare very well in the Name That Year game presented by Sendix, because quite frankly, the two guys that are on the show can't remember. Tausch and I are terrible at it too, so I don't know how that's going to go without Old Boy, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to do that next, presented by Sendix, but not until I tell you, if you need to get away, you can just head down to Milwaukee and head to Potawatomi Casino Hotel. They've got the biggest hotel rooms in all of Milwaukee, nearly 500 beautifully designed rooms and luxury suites, and you're just steps away from all the fun stuff happening inside. And my favorite part is the food, whether it's the Dream Dance Steakhouse, the Marketplace, Rock and Brews, Canal Street Cafe, Ruyi Asian Kitchen, or Cream City Coffee Company. There are food and drink specials happening all the time. And if you're planning a wedding, a birthday, or an anniversary, their event spaces are built to make it unforgettable. Sophisticated relaxation, incredible flavor, and a full night out all in one place at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More Wilde and Tausch with Joe Thomas as our cousin sub of the day is next. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
ESPN Wisconsin celebrates Wilde and Tausch's 10-year anniversary, presented by Steinhoffels.
Our very first guest, Aaron Rodgers. Give us an over-under on what number would you set for how many shows we do together?
Daily, 52 weeks in a year. I'm going to say you do about 230.
Wilde and Tausch's 10th anniversary is also brought to you by Sendix, by Outdoor Living Unlimited, by Gruber Law Offices, by UW Credit Union, and by Events by Design.
What life events have you experienced over the past couple of years? Well, maybe one is coming up. The sale of a company, death, divorce, a health crisis, or helping to pay for college or a wedding. Well, Annex Wealth Management has assisted clients with life events, but planning for them can make all the difference. Knowing what you own, why you own it, and how much you're paying for it is a big part of smart financial planning. Annex has an entire in-house team that works together so you can make informed decisions when life events come up. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and you know I love a smart play from the pocket. That's why I joined UW Credit Union. With their mobile banking app, I can make smart plays from anywhere. And with rewards checking perks like early payday, I score my money sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and make the smart play by becoming a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA, terms and conditions apply.
Enjoy Ozaki County's premier golf destination, The Bog in Saukville. Featuring 18 championship holes designed by legendary golfer Arnold Palmer, The Bog offers a golf experience unlike any other for all skill levels. But The Bog is more than just golf. It's the perfect setting for corporate events, weddings, and group outings. Our team brings every detail to life. Play the finest greens of Wisconsin, then enjoy a bite to eat in our restaurant or out on our new patio bar overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy The Bog.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on Old Dutch Tortilla, Crunch, or Ripples chips or salsa, 2 for $5.50. 8-ounce selected varieties, Essential Everyday Shredded or Chunk Cheese, 2 for $4. Whole seedless watermelon, $3.99. Fresh 85% lean ground beef, $4.99 a pound.
It's a long fly ball.
What?
Safe.
Every time I scan, what is happening?
A leaping grab at the wall.
Okay, fine, I'll play. Get a load of this watermelon. And here's the pitch.
Please wait for assistance.
Win Century Foods Ultimate Fan Experiences at Milwaukee baseball games. Throw out the first pitch, hold the ribbon for the Johnsonville famous sausage race, or watch batting practice from the field.
Ooh, what do I do?
Complete the entry form in Century's weekly ad and return to the store.
Oh, no, what happened here?
Oh, self-checkout couldn't handle my heater. Here, I filled out my entry form. Gotta go. Have a great day.
I'll go get the mop.
Enter by August 5th.
Calling all High Life lovers, the Champaign of Beers is making history. They're selecting their very first mayor of the Champaign of Beers region. Share your story, throw your hat in the ring, and show us why you love High Life by visiting the Miller Brewery website. Must be 25 plus to sign up, 21 plus to enjoy. Celebrate responsibly.
Milwaukee Weight Loss knows the secret to losing up to a pound of fat every day with no drugs or surgery, and they'll show you how to keep it off for good. Get your confidence and your health back right now. $200 off the summer special for limited time only. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com now to book your free consultation. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Euro Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, 855 Pella WI, or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Our build-up to our 10th anniversary celebration of Wilde and Tausch continues with another rendition, and I think this is fun. We just aren't very good at it after 10 years. It is time now for Name That Year, presented by Sendix.
It's not a question of who.
Wilde and Tausch is my favorite show. This called Wilde too.
Or what.
If you want to do this, it's great, but you're not getting any younger.
The question is, when?
Do I want Justin Fields to be replaced right now? I'm not sure. I could still probably develop him.
Wilde and Tausch's 10th anniversary is presented by Steinhoffels. And it's time to play Name That Year. Served up by Sendix Food Markets.
Those guys have been around here a long time.
Sendix, celebrating 10 years of Wilde and Tausch and 100 years as your trusted local grocer since 1926.
All right, guys, I am fired up to run Name That Year for the very first time during this Wilde and Tausch 10-year anniversary celebration. I am very curious to see how well you guys do today. Ryan, let's start with something Joe Thomas said about a certain Packers quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Happened. You can't possibly solve the greatest issues that humankind has always faced, like sending a man to the moon, like making Aaron Rodgers happy with a green and gold jersey on. And so my solution, while it's going to be outside the box, it's never been done before, and it would take the front office in Green Bay definitely eating a healthy dose of humble pie. What they should do for the next 2 seasons is make Aaron Rodgers the de facto general manager.
Name that year. When did Joe Thomas say that Aaron Rodgers should be the de facto GM for the Green Bay Packers?
Joe, do you remember when you said that? Because you should have an advantage here.
Can I answer?
Yes, you may.
I think it was 2019, if I had to guess.
All right,
Jason?
I'm gonna go against the guy who said the actual words, which I know is a bold strategy, Cotton. I am going to say that he said that in 2021 when Aaron Rodgers, after the drafting of Jordan Love and after winning an MVP, had complained about the fact that Goody didn't really have much interest in his input. And then it's going to turn out to be 2020, and we'll both be wrong. Riley?
Well, one of you is correct.
Oh, dang, I know it's not
and
me.
It's Jason.
Nice work.
It was 2021.
I can't be held accountable for the words I don't remember that I said or the year that I said them in. So congratulations on that one, Wilde.
Well, let me hold you accountable briefly, though, because it
Sure.
did seem as though the New York Jets did allow Aaron Rodgers to be their general manager during his time there. He obviously suffered the injury. But when you look back on that, did he do a good enough job that you would say that was something that the Packers should have been more open to doing? Not maybe officially adding it to his title, but having him have more say than he had.
And that was the gist of the conversation. Of course, we had to make it a little spicier, help boost the ratings here on Wilde and Tausch. However, I'll say it's not really a fair comparison to say, after the guy's in his 40s and he's in New York, tears his Achilles, you see, it didn't work out there. You could roll Brett Favre back and make him the GM, and they say, well, see, he wouldn't have been able to do it 20 years before in Green Bay. So because it never happened, we'll never know if it was a good take or a bad take. But I do think that they should have leaned into his suggestions, made him feel part of the process a little bit more, because I think when you do that, you give a guy ownership, and a guy that has done as much as he did for the organization with as much talent, I think you want to make him feel like he's part of the process. He's the guy that in the end of the day is going to be throwing the ball on winning or losing games for you. So you should take his input into account when you're making these decisions. You shouldn't make huge decisions, maybe like drafting a Jordan Love, without at least talking to the man and helping him understand the vision and how he fits and how this is going to help him. Because if you say nothing, it's going to come off however Aaron Rodgers perceives it. And as we know, the man has done a few ayahuasca retreats, and you have no idea how he's going to see things. But if you have a chance to at least talk to him man-to-man, explain your side of it, listen to him, I think he's going to at least feel like he's part of the process. And when you've got a big ego, deservedly so, as one of the greats of all time playing that position, you got to be careful how you handle that player.
Moving on.
I'm still Team Joe. I'm still Team Joe on that. They did not have any interest in his input, and I do think that created a lot of the less than stellar circumstances as a result. Sorry, Riley, go ahead.
No worries. Moving on to clip number 2. This was a time when Joe Thomas felt particularly bad for an NFL player. Ryan, fire it up.
Are leaving who you've been and who you've become for all these years and going to do something else. And he's walking off the field to all these boos. And there was a visceral reaction inside of me like, man, I feel so bad. There was so much empathy for him because you could see that the decision just ripped him apart. And then to have to deal with those boos from the people that were his biggest supporters, I felt really bad for him.
Name that year. When did Joe Thomas feel bad for a player getting booed off the field? And bonus points if you can say who the player was.
We don't even tell us who the player is.
Yeah, I don't even remember who the player was. This is a really difficult one here because I was hoping that it would spark a memory here.
Jesse specifically listed in this email, it could be fun to have Joe guess which athlete he's talking about being booed off the field.
Robin Yount. No, I have.
As he heads into retirement.
Okay.
Go in a bar.
Little clue.
Oh, was that Barry? A little Barry clip
Little
there?
Barry, yeah, little Barry hotkey.
That was
But
just
I don't
Barry's-
think it was Badger fans.
That was just Barry saying,
Go boo in a bar.
Yeah, I love it. Go poo in a bar. You know, that's a great question. I'm going to guess 2024, but I don't even remember who we were talking about. So that's what we call a wild guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who famously. We're going to kick ourselves when we get this.
I know, it's gonna be so obvious
we're
when we
told
hear it.
this. But I'm trying to think of who even got booed off the field the last time they I mean, certainly the Packers fans booed, other than Jesse, Brett Favre in 2009, but that was before we even had a show, so that ain't it.
Sure.
I'm going to say 2022 with no idea who we're talking about.
Well, unfortunately, both of you are incorrect. The player that Joe was talking about was Andrew Luck.
Ah, of course.
Does that tell you? Does that tell you what year it was? Do you think?
Still no, but I think it was like
no.
2021, 22, maybe somewhere in there.
It was
when he abruptly
actually
retired.
Yeah.
Yep. It was 2019.
Oh shoot.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Crazy. It's still a crazy story because wasn't that in preseason?
Yeah, I
It
believe
was like
so.
preseason where he like the news broke and he was standing on the sideline. That's right? It was a preseason game. Of course, he wasn't playing, and news broke, and so of course now you're standing up there in front of Caesar Augustus, and he's deciding your fate, and all these fans are throwing stuff at you and booing you, and you know. The man has the right to make a decision what he feels is best for his body and his family and his future. And he had given a lot to that organization up until that point. I mean, the beatings that he took and the way that he would run the football and be willing to take that contact to get the extra couple yards. I mean, it was just a sad way to end a career that was overwhelmingly positive.
Also a sad way to do that question. Should have included who it was.
Boo to Jesse. How about that? Let's boo Jesse up north on his fancy, expensive yacht that he's probably putzing around with somewhere in some beautiful chain of lakes in northern Wisconsin. Hopefully eating some Hall of Fame beef.
Yeah. Last but certainly not least, maybe this one will be a little easier. We've been talking some Badgers. Here is Joe Thomas talking about the identity disconnect for Wisconsin football.
The identity that I had when I was there on the teams with Barry and then with Brett in his first season and then with Paul was like, hey, we're going to be disciplined. We're not going to make mistakes. We're going to run the football. We'll take some shots down the field. We're going to play tough defense. We're not going to be able to do some of the things that you want to do maybe at the skill positions because we just can't recruit those type of players that teams from the South or in Texas, Florida are able to do. So we're going to be really good at what we can do, and we're going to control the things we can control, which is mistakes, it's penalties, it's mental errors, and we're going to just play good, tough, hard football. And I think that's the identity that Fickell wants to have, but there's a little bit of a disconnect right now with who they want to be and who they are.
Name that year. When did Joe Thomas talk about Luke Fickell's identity disconnect with his squad? That appears to not exist this year, which is nice.
Well, at least we have some clues in this one. We know it's within the last few years here. So I would say 2024. Final answer.
That's phenomenal. I am going to say, so I don't say the same answer, 2025. 2025.
Back and forth.
Once again, one of you is correct. This time it's the Hall of Fame.
Hey, finally got one right.
2024.
The best sound effect in all of radio.
Thank you for playing Name That Year.
All right. Well, I'm glad Joe got to finish on a high note.
Thank you.
Especially since all three clips were of him on our show. All right. We're going to play. Riley and Joe are going to play trivia without me next. So, Rye Guy, what is today's category and what caller would you like?
well, since I was producing on Tuesday and Jesse very rudely skipped Badgers Trivia Tuesday, which I wrote out, I saved the questions, and we'll be doing them for Badgers Trivia Friday. Very appropriate with the Badgers legend Joe Thomas on the show.
All right, what caller would you like?
Let's go caller number 11 today.
All right, caller number 11 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 11 plays Wilde and Tausch Trivia, presented by Cousin Subs and Vortex Golf. I'm going to head to practice while Tausch tells you about Sendix. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Well, if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, my friends at Sendix have you covered. This Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 4, stop by for their exclusive Links and Drinks event. Sample 5 of Sendix signature sausages, including honey sriracha chicken, chicken bacon ranch, and island pineapple teriyaki, each paired with a craft beer, including the limited edition Sendix Centennial Anniversary Lager. And while you're there, don't miss the 2-day-only chicken salad flash sale featuring 11 unique varieties from Sendix classic recipe to favorites like Thai peanut, dill pickle, and buffalo. And it's finally here, Wisconsin-grown sweet corn. Fresh from Sullivan, Wisconsin, it's just $5 a dozen. Nothing says summer quite like local sweet corn. Plus, hatch pepper season has arrived. Order fresh or fire-roasted hatch peppers by the pound or by the case at Sendix.com. Head to Sendix this weekend and enjoy the best flavors of summer at Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Every homeowner has a list. That roof, those windows, that bathroom you've been meaning to update. If you've been putting off home improvements, you're not alone. At Exterior Pros and Baths, they help homeowners upgrade their homes with beautiful roofing, siding, windows, doors, gutters, and bathrooms built to last. Right now, save up to $3,000 on your next project. Don't wait until a small problem becomes an expensive one. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com. Exterior Pros and Baths. Done right, built to last.
It all started with a small storefront and a big promise. Treat every customer just like family. For decades, local families have trusted Sendix to provide the freshest food, the warmest smiles, and a place where community comes first. From generation to generation, we have grown together. Because Sendix is more than just a grocery store. It's home. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for the past 100 years. Here's to the next 100 years. Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code FAST to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code FAST to borrow up to $10,000. Use code FAST to borrow up to $10,000.
Calling all skilled sheet metal pros in the Milwaukee area. We need you. Smart 18 is the union for Wisconsin sheet metal workers because it offers awesome pay, more job security, and benefits you can't beat. Around here, the total wage package for an experienced journeyman starts at over $91 an hour. That's right, $91 an hour. Build your career by making a smart move today. Learn more at smart18.work.
Summer and baseball go hand in hand, and as a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers, Carbless is helping fans swing into full flavor all season long. Whether you're at the ballpark, tailgating with friends, or catching the game from home, Carbless delivers bold flavor in a convenient canned cocktail that's ready wherever summer takes you. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 100 calories, gluten-free and full of flavor. Carbless. Find your bliss near you at drinkcarbless.com.
ESPN Milwaukee fans, it's Gabe Neitzel here, and I want to introduce you to Jens Family Chiropractic. If you're dealing with back pain, neck pain, headaches, or sciatica, Jens Family Chiropractic focuses on finding the cause of the problem, not just helping you manage the symptoms. For nearly 10 years, they've helped Milwaukee area patients find real answers through personalized care and advanced treatment options. Learn more and check out their new patient special at jensfamilychiropractic.com. That's jensfamilychiropractic.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher for Outdoor Living Unlimited. Well, my wife and I chose Outdoor Living Unlimited to build our outdoor project. And when we met with Aaron and Eric Brown, owners and brothers of Outdoor Living Unlimited, we felt like they were the right guys to work with. We share the same hardworking values, and their showroom is a must-see at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha. If you're looking for a new deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, and more, Outdoor Living Unlimited is a must. Start with OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com and end with an amazing outdoor space.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
The rain has started to fall here at TPC, Wisconsin. Riley Elk alongside the Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. This is Wilde and Tausch. Jason Wilde heading down to Packers practice. He'll be doing the rest of the show from there. But in the meantime, it's time to play some Wilde and Tausch trivia presented by Cousin Subs and Vortex Golf.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Cool down with the summer shake from Cousin Subs. Enjoy 4 delicious flavors: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and mint. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. And by Vortex Golf. Trivia winners this week receive a hat, ball marker, sticker, and a blade rangefinder courtesy of Vortex Golf. Rangefinders you can bet on.
Our contestant today is Bill in New Berlin, not that far from the hometown of Joe Thomas, just a little bit south, I believe. Bill, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing fabulous. We've got the first question here for Bill in New Berlin. If you've been listening to the show, this should be a nice, easy warm-up for you. You don't even need your coffee here to get this one right. So, the 2026 Badger football season, Luke Fickell has repeated a 3-word phrase that he wants his team to embody. Those 3 words are...
I don't.
Do you give
I don't know.
Options are...
Do you not have the options listed?
Why don't you give them the options there,
I will
Riley?
read the options for you, Bill. No worries. I will also angle my computer towards Joe Thomas so he can see. Are the 3 words Luke Fickell wants his team to embody? Is it don't turn back, tough, nasty, disciplined, or C, boo in a bar?
Go boo in a bar.
Go boo in a bar.
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't listening. I'll guess A.
Hey, Ryan, is he correct?
Sorry about that.
Fortunately, it is tough,
That is
nasty, disciplined. Luke Fickell's mantra for 2026. And really, since he's gotten here, it's just really sort of taken a new precedence this season. Well, let's bounce back. We got question 2, Bill. The Badgers sent 3 team captains to Big Ten football media days in Chicago on Tuesday. I had the opportunity to talk to all 3 of them. Which of these is not one of those 3 players? Is it wide receiver Chris Brooks, tight end James Rutledge, or safety Matt Young?
Oh, boy. I will go, I'll go B. I don't know.
B is correct. Great bounce back, Bill. James Rutledge, also known as Jim Rutledge, host of Molly and Jim, weekdays 4 to 6 on ESPN Madison. I also talked to him on Tuesday, but he is not a Badgers player. Final question from Joe Thomas.
These questions were originally written on Tuesday when it was still 40 days away from kickoff of the Badger football season. So who was the last Wisconsin football player to wear jersey number 40? Is it A, left tackle Mark Tauscher, B, halfback Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch, or C, halfback Raleigh Strelo?
Ooh. I would think it's got to be B or C. I'll guess B again.
He's rolling with B again. But you are incorrect. Unfortunately, Bill, it was a valiant effort.
It was a trick question, Bill. I'm sorry about that one.
I
blame Jesse.
Love Wisconsin,
no, Joe,
I believe.
Joe, I wrote the question, so
No.
blame Jesse.
Jesse told me he gave subliminal messaging to you.
Yeah.
To make it a trick question.
Man, he was
to
the
fool.
devil on Ryan's shoulder as
clearly
weaved these questions together. I believe Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch, he was number 35, correct?
No, he
Ryan?
was number 40. He wore number 40 at Wisconsin. His jersey number 40 is retired. But after he wore the number 40, there were 6 more players who wore it at UW before that jersey number was retired.
Oh, that is a brutally trick question.
Yeah, Jesse taught me well, guys. What can I say?
I don't even think ChatGPT would have got that one right.
No.
No, probably. No, almost as hard as name that year, right, Joe?
Yeah, that was brutal. Nobody could get those questions right,
Bill,
including the guy that said them.
Alan Amici, he was 35, I think.
Yes, correct.
Yes, okay, got that. Man, sorry, Bill. That last one was brutal. I'll be honest, I think you should have gotten the first one, but that's all right. You still got question 2 right. You got 1 right, so that means you have 2 entries in today's drawing. Ryan, are you going to be doing the ice cream helmet drawing later?
No, Riley, not the ice cream helmet. It is the patented cheese fry helmet.
Cheese fry helmet, sorry. They
uses.
mostly, if you go to American Family Field now, it's mostly they put the ice cream in it. I haven't seen cheese fries at American Family Field, I don't know how long.
They use like bowls now for the cheese fries. The servings got bigger over the last few years. They can't fit them in a mini helmet anymore.
Well, that is certainly a plus for cheese fry lovers. And for Bill, who still has a chance to win an amazing prize pack from Cousin Subs and Vortex Golf. Bill, thank you for playing.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Go Packers.
Yes, sir. Go Pack Go. Have a great day. Jason Wilde is down at Packers practice. He will retake the reins when we return. Don't go anywhere. This is Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella-certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Kevin Moret for Mentality. For our guys wanting to lean up and preserve their muscle mass, nothing is more powerful than combining testosterone therapy with GLP-1s. The TRT builds muscle and fuels metabolism, while GLP-1s target fat stores of the body. Clients currently combining these 2 revolutionary treatments look better than they have in years. This treatment isn't for everyone, only the guys that want next-level results. Start today at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Hi, it's Jen Latta. If you've ever put off a painting project because it felt too overwhelming, I totally understand. That's why I was so impressed with 2-Day Painting. From the first consultation to the final walkthrough, their team made the entire process so easy. They recently painted the exterior of my home, and I couldn't be happier with the results. The quality of the work and attention to detail really stood out. Right now, ask about 15% off and free touch-ups for life. Schedule your free estimate today at 2daypainting.com. That's 2daypainting.com, and tell them Jen sent you.
Hey baseball fans, when the game's over, keep the fun of the season going at the award-winning Lake Lawn Resort on beautiful Delavan Lake. Trade the bleachers for the shoreline and the always-on-the-go schedule for total lakeside relaxation. Celebrate your own MVP moments with waterfront dining, golf, relaxing spa escapes, and family fun all season long. Just a short drive from Milwaukee, it's your home run getaway. Book your stay today at lakelandresort.com and come find out for yourself why everything is better at the lake.
Beautiful day for Brewers baseball. Brats in one hand, your Brewers checking card from Associated Bank is in the other. And with a tap, it's 20% off gear at the Brewers team store. An express entry so you can tailgate longer. And up to 50% off home game tickets. All that power, all for the crew. Only with Brewers checking from Associated Bank. Join the crew at AssociatedBank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance. Because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family. They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
As promised, Tucker Kraft is indeed off the physically unable to perform list, as Matt LaFleur told us was going to be the case a little while ago. We have now seen him taking reps with the tight ends in individual drills. So that is the big and obviously very positive news from Packers training camp. We'll kick off the 11 o'clock hour in a little bit, but I had a great interaction on my way down here, but it always throws me for a loop, and I need the Hall of Famers' advice on this. So, Joe, you are a Badgers legend, a Pro Football Hall of Famer. When fans see you, they get excited. Oh, my God, it's Joe Thomas. Well, Michael and his wife and their kids were walking back from practice up to Lambeau Field, and I hear someone yell, "Jason," to see if I turn around, and I do. And Michael is a huge fan of the show, lives in Illinois, listens every day. His wife informed me that she has to listen every day because of that. I said the operative word there being has to. But it was great. And obviously that this kind of stuff happens to you probably nonstop. Whereas for me, I will say all 3 days of camp, someone has done that, which lets me know that people do listen to our show, and it makes me very happy. But it's not something that I'm like accustomed to. How do you, like, I'm just me, right? Like I'm probably a little self-deprecating when people say stuff about that, because it makes me uncomfortable that they're so excited to talk to me or that they love the show so much. We're appreciative, obviously, but that the adulation thing is not really in my wheelhouse. For everything you've accomplished, Joe, I say this sincerely, you are as humble of a guy as I know. Is there a right way to handle that? Because you must get it constantly, and you must be really good at it by now.
Well, it's interesting. When I was a younger player in Cleveland and people would shout my name, I'd always turn around, right? Because I'm like you. Like, I just feel like I'm just a guy. I just a regular kid, grew up in Brookfield, a Packer fan, was blessed, had big, strong German parents that allowed me to play football, and I just chased what I loved, and it was never anything out of the ordinary in my mind. So I also think it's crazy to think that, you know, people look up to me or are a fan of what I've done on the football field. But when I was a younger player, I'd always turn around. And then there was one time, it was training camp, you know, like year 3, and I heard somebody like, "Hey, Joe Thomas." And when you're walking out to training camp, I don't know how it is at Packers training camp, but you can see the fans, you can hear the fans as you're getting ready. So, like, you can hear them, obviously, and they know it, and a lot of times fans are hollering autographs, whatever. And I turned around, and the guy goes, "You suck!" And so from that point forward, I decided I'm not turning around if people just start hollering my name, for fear of the most humbling, embarrassing moment of the guy just be like, in Happy Gilmore, "Hey, Happy Gilmore, you suck!" So that's a word of caution for turning around every time somebody yells Jason Wilde. But it is a crazy thing as a human being who just thinks of himself as a father, as a guy who just played the game he always loved, that people would be interested to hear or talk to me. But moving back after I retired in Cleveland, I felt somewhat anonymous. Like, people didn't really recognize me, bother me at dinner, or, you know, went out with the family or whatnot. Although I love talking to fans, especially now that I am a fan. But since Hall of Fame Farms has sort of taken off and people have been eating our beef jerky and beef sticks, and our Wagyu steaks are in a bunch of restaurants around town and stuff, it's amazing how many more people now are recognizing me from our social media, from our YouTube documentary series that we're doing, and are willing to stop me. And that is one of the coolest things, because I didn't grow up farming, and I intentionally picked, I want to raise the healthiest, best beef on planet Earth. I want to raise Wagyu. I want to do it in Wisconsin. I want to partner up with Wisconsin farms. I want to promote the American family farmer and the great things that we are doing to feed our country. And the fact that people are recognizing that and recognizing me from those things and wanting to talk to me, that is really, really cool. And I feel so special. And the fact that you guys allow me to come on the show and feed you guys amazing Hall of Fame beef sticks and beef jerky, that is a really cool thing for me. And that's among the more humbling things I feel like I ever experience in my life.
Well, we're thrilled to have you whenever Tausch is gone, and that today's the case as well. Speaking of fans, when Tucker Kraft made his way to the tight end group, there was a very loud "Go Pack Go" chant, a lot of excitement, obviously, for him being on the field. So a big reaction from them. We will continue with the 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch after I tell you about Steinhafels. You know what? There's a lot of great people that I see every day at training camp. I don't see my old friend John Maniaci very often, but he's going to have to stand there and listen to me tell you about how time is running out. It's the last weekend of the small space event at Steinhafels. So if you've been thinking about upgrading your man cave, your basement, your apartment, or your home office, don't wait. You'll find smart, space-saving furniture that's big on comfort and style. Plus, for a limited time, get 60-month financing and take an extra 10% off already low-priced clearance furniture and mattresses. But you've only got through Monday, so get to Steinhafels or shop steinhafels.com today. Relax. It's Steinhafels. The 11 o'clock hour with Joe Thomas in is our Cousin Sub of the day. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Starts in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here, and if you know me, you know I love Wisconsin. That's why I'm a UW Credit Union member. Their team's been all about Wisconsin since 1931, and they love making banking easy for members. Whether it's with their convenient mobile app or with the great perks like early payday to get you paid sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Patio season is here, and there's no better place to soak it in than Veer North. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Alex Strofe. Located on Milwaukee's east side, Veer North brings the energy with a spacious patio, elevated food, and handcrafted cocktails. Heading to a Brewers game, state fair, or a summer festival? Start at Veer North and take the shuttle. Exclusive for ESPN Milwaukee listeners. Mention ESPN Milwaukee and save 10% on your bill. Then stick around for live music, great vibes, and a menu that goes way beyond the basics. Veer North, Milwaukee's go-to destination all summer long.
It's Mike with Infinity Exteriors. I've seen it all, Wisconsin. Sketchy sales gimmicks for low-quality windows,
siding that costs more than a new home, fly-by-night roofers, 60,000 happy customers made a better choice. Infinity Exteriors roofing, siding, and windows all come with our lifetime workmanship warranty, no overcharges, and transparent pricing. At Infinity Exteriors, we're on a mission to save our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Brian Butch here. From high school All-American to Division I to the pros, I know every detail matters when it comes to performance. And right now, Iron Jock is giving you one more reason to gear up. Now through August 2nd, score our best deal on the Iron Jock Basics Bundle. Get a pair of Iron Jock boxers, crew socks, and a t-shirt for just $57.50. Iron Jock products are moisture wicking and powered by silver ion technology to help fight odor-causing bacteria. Iron Jock, built on performance, built to last, built in Wisconsin. Shop now at ironjock.com.
This is Wisconsin basketball head coach Greg Gard. This is 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD2, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
Joining us now is the Green Bay Packers' new head coach, Matt LaFleur on Wilde Tausch.
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
Matt LaFleur, Matt Nagy, and Matt Patricia. Who is the most famous non-NFC North head coach not named Matt? No, I'm sorry.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at ESPN Milwaukee.
Who is the most famous non-NFC North head coach named Matt? Matt Damon, Matt Ryan, somebody else.
And celebrating 10 great years on ESPN Wisconsin.
Can you repeat that question?
Sorry.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now with Joe Thomason as our cousin sub of the day. It's a little awkward down here at this end of the practice field because usually I'm down here and I'm by myself. The tight ends, they do their drill work every day, the same spot in this corner of the end zone that I'm down by. But I'm the only one down here. Everybody else is watching other stuff. But Tucker Kraft comes off PUP and everybody in God's creation is down here. So I was contemplating having to use my golf announcer voice, Tucker Kraft, going through blocking drills. But they've now moved on because the tight ends have departed, so I can get back to my regular voice. The offensive line going through their drill work as well, a little bit farther away from me. And, Joe, we would be remiss if we didn't take advantage of having you here to talk some offensive line. And we know that the last time you joined us, it was after you'd come and paid a visit up here. And you said some really good things about Jordan Morgan. Obviously, we have not had the pads on yet. That will happen on Monday. There's the mandatory day off tomorrow. There's another practice on Sunday. And then Monday will be the first in-pads practice while I'm at the ESPN Madison Open. So I'm going to miss that. But the idea that everything hinges on the left tackle, set aside your left tackle bias and tell me if that's true. Because all eyes, you offensive linemen, very rarely are all eyes on you. But I think all eyes are on that entire group. But the most eyes are on Jordan Morgan as we get closer to the in-pads practices of camp.
It's obviously an important position. That's why they pay those guys the most money out of the entire offensive line. But the way to think of an offensive line is more like links in a chain. Yeah, it's great to have a really strong link, but defensive players are allowed to move around. Defensive coordinators are allowed to take a guy like a Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and say, well, I don't like that matchup. Just go over here and have him one-on-one over against this guy. And so you can't really say it's all that much more important than the rest of the offensive line. But for the Packers specifically, for a guy that only played 51 snaps at left tackle in his NFL career, which all came in Week 18 at Minnesota, there's a lot of question marks. And to give you some context, he's an amazing athlete. Jordan Morgan, we know he's played every position for the Packers except for center. He's an incredible athlete at the Combine. He ran a 1.69 10-yard split. For me, I was a 1.72, I think. So The man is faster and quicker than I am. He's bigger.
Hall of
He's
Famer,
stronger.
baby. Hall of Famer. He's on his way.
Played, yeah, you never know. But when I got a chance to go visit them in the spring, Coach LaFleur was gracious enough to allow me to come up and work with the offensive line, sit through the meetings and listen and see if there was a few words of wisdom that I could share. And it was great because I got to sit next to Jordan and get to know who he is. Great dude, very serious, takes his craft extremely serious, focused on the details. All those things I think are really important to kind of set the stage for possible success. And we go out on the field, and I'm watching him. And I was ready to, jump in there, turn the hat around like the offensive line coach. Hey, this is what you ought to be doing. You got to change this and that. And I watched him, and I'm like, dang. For a guy that, he played a bunch in college at left tackle, but in the NFL doesn't have a lot of snaps. He's got really good technique. I was very, very impressed. And at the end of practice, I put my arm around him, and I said, hey, man, I was ready to come in here and give you all these tips. And now, do you do things differently than I did technically? Of course. We are different humans. We have different body types, but I said, you are playing in balance. You're taking the right steps. Your eyes are in the right place. Your hand placement's proper. Now, granted, they were in shorts and T-shirts. It was underwear Olympics out there, so you don't really know the consistency side of things until you get those pads on and you watch him reacting to a live pass rusher. But overall, I was very, very impressed. I came out of there thinking he's athletically got what he needs. From a power, physicality standpoint, he's got what he needs. From a mindset standpoint, yes. And then finally, the technique is very, very good. It's very impressive for where he is at his stage in his career. And so I don't see any reason why he can't be an all-pro left tackle for the Packers year in and year out. Now, what I just was saying about we need to see it to be able to believe it, and how we're always measured as left tackles is not about how great we look running in the combine or how good our technique is or how we made that great pancake block 50 yards down the field. It's, all right, you got 69 snaps. How many of those 69 snaps did you do your job? How good were you at reacting to a defense that's changing in a split second once the ball is snapped? And that's the part that we need to see, and that's the part that comes with experience. But I would say the sky is the limit, and I'm very optimistic on Jordan Morgan. And if you're a Packer fan, you got to feel really good about the situation that they're in right now at left tackle.
So you played 10,363 consecutive snaps. As good as you were, not all of them were perfect. Right, I'm assuming at some point you gave up a sack or two.
A couple.
What part of resiliency? Because he's going to get beat, right? And it could very well be in the opener in Minnesota because the stuff that Brian Flores is going to throw at him is going to confuse him. There's going to be moments where he's going to, get off late on the snap or whatever it might be. How much does resiliency, to your point, because you play 69 snaps in a game and you play 66 of them that are awesome and you give up 3 sacks. Nobody's talking about, boy, those 66 snaps, he was so good, right? So how much does resiliency, especially at left tackle, come into, a guy's makeup and how effective he's going to be? Because he's not going to be perfect because even you weren't.
That's why I hated defensive guys. All they got to do is get 1 sack, and if they do that every week, they go to the Hall of Fame. They stroll into the Hall of Fame. Whereas me, I'm not judged by one play. I'm judged by all of them. And so that's the struggle, and that's the thing that I really want to see out there. But the early returns, at least from getting to know him a little bit and watching him in practice and sitting next to him in meetings, was very positive. And that's why I mentioned mindset and how important it is for an offensive lineman. Defensive linemen, they're kind of crazy, right? A lot of them low IQ. That's why you stick them over there. But on offense, you need to be able to bounce back. You are much more like a cornerback than any other position on the field because you're going to have a bad play. And the question is, what kind of a mindset do you have to be able to come back the next play, wipe the slate clean from what just happened, and refocus quickly in a matter of 30 seconds on what's the task at hand and what do I have to do next so I don't allow one bad play to turn into 2 and then snowball into a bad game.
One more thing on the offensive line, and then we'll move forward. You mentioned being links in a chain. When I look at this chain, we just spent a lot of time talking about Jordan Morgan, but really there are question marks about all the different links, right? If we're going left to right, we've got then Aaron Banks at left guard, who is experienced. He's 28, going to be 29 years old, but He dealt with injuries last year, inconsistent play, and then he has been limited in practice so far. Started out on the PUP. He's off of that, but he's still, he's still got plenty to prove as a veteran player. Then we've got Sean Ryan at center, who played 9 games there, but and played well for a guard playing center. Will he play well for a center being a center? Then you go to right guard, and you've got a guy who played tackle his whole life. And Brian Bulaga has told us that he was an example of a guy that played tackle his whole life, and he went to guard, and he was terrible. He could not have played guard, he says, and I'm going to go on what he says, even if I think he probably would have figured it out. He says he couldn't have played guard in the NFL. Anthony Belton played some guard as a rookie, obviously last year, started 7 games. He's going to have some competition potentially from Jagger Burton, who's a rookie 5th-round pick, who is an interior lineman by trade. And then at right tackle, your best offensive lineman is also coming off a torn patellar tendon. When you look at those links and you look at those 4 guys, how hard is it and how long does it take to get them like in that sync, in that connectivity? Because we all know the chemistry of that is such a vital piece if you're going to succeed.
I think it can happen quickly, but I think the key is how healthy can they be? Because if they're able to be healthy, and I don't even just mean like being there on Sundays, but can those guys come back from a Sunday game and be healthy enough to practice with each other during that entire week? Because you're getting a ton of reps next to the guy who you're going to be playing with on Sunday. If they are able to come back and be healthy week in and week out, especially the early part of that season, because in a regular season, when you're doing practice, you've got like 60 walkthrough reps almost every single day, and then you're going to get about 30 practice reps. So you're getting 90 reps every day that you're on the field. The challenges start is when, like, all of a sudden, Zach Tom is down. Who are we going to move out to tackle? Do we bring in his backup, or are we going to now start shuffling guys on the offensive line and putting them out of position because we want to get the best 5 on the field? And now maybe they're available on Sundays, but not being available during the week, it starts to erode at the chemistry that you're trying to build. So it's something that a lot of times it is out of your control who gets injured, but if they're able to stay healthy through training camp, stay on the field for those practices, stay healthy, being able to practice every single day at the early part of the season, I think that chemistry can come very quickly. And as you mentioned, like, there's a lot of talented guys here. Some have played a lot of football. Some maybe didn't play as well last season as they had hoped, but the talent is there. And now it's just a matter of, can they show up and be accountable each and every day? Can they be available every single practice with each other so that they can go out and they can build that trust and accountability amongst that unit?
I'm glad you bring up the health part of it, though, and Tausch has heard me say this a million times, but it's true. It's so rare for you guys as offensive linemen to keep your group together through a whole season. I think the Packers had 8 or 9 different starting lineups on the offensive line last year, and I always go back to the 2014 team, and I always say that, look, the way they lost in Seattle, obviously devastating. The meltdown and all the mistakes they made to give away a game that they should have won, that should have sent them to a Super Bowl. Well, there were all kinds of terrible things, and I still have people who say, too soon whenever I bring that up. At the same time, one of the other, I don't want to go so far as to say tragedies, because that's an overstatement, but one of the other reasons why it was so terrible that they fell apart that way is because their offensive line that year played together all year. There was one guy who missed one game. It was our guy, Brian Bulaga, who in week 2, after hurting his MCL in week 1 in Seattle, didn't play against the Jets. And he missed one game, played through it the rest of the year, and so they had their starting lineup intact for 15 of the 16 games. And oh, by the way, that's also one of the reasons why that was one of the best offensive lines they've ever had. And so you talk about the in the week part of it. Like, you were on maintenance, right? Sometimes during your career to get you through to Sunday. How often did you have a year where you guys, Batonio and all that crew, how many times did you guys stay healthy all year? Because the odds are against the Packers of the 5 guys that they start with on September 13th in the Twin Cities being the same 5 guys all 17 games long.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the statistics would parse out, but surprisingly, we had a very good offensive line that was very healthy through the majority of my career, and some of our best offensive lines, me, Joel Batonio, Alex Mack, John Greco, right guard, and Mitchell Schwartz at right tackle. All those guys played a long time in the NFL, were very healthy throughout their careers, and availability as an offensive line is one of those things that fans don't think about as much, but general managers, front office people, they put a lot of value on your durability and your ability to just show up and be in that same spot every single day, because it gives your coordinator an unlock in his mind, because he knows then, like, hey, I can count on this guy doing this, even if he's not the best left guard in the NFL. I know the things that he can do, and I know the things that he can't do. And he's reliable in that sense. So I can call a game and I can put together strategy for this week's opponent that can take advantage of the things that they do well, and then I can avoid the things that they're not as good at. But when you're always moving guys around, you don't know how guys are going to play next to each other with certain concepts and certain run schemes and pass protection schemes. And the unknown is the biggest fear that a lot of coordinators have, because you might call a great play and get somebody wide open down the field, but you didn't expect your left guard to go the wrong way or get beat on a double team that he's got with his center with a nose guard that shouldn't be in the backfield. And so I think that availability is just, by and large, one of the most important, maybe the most important thing for an offensive lineman in the NFL.
We're going to shift gears. I want to talk a little bit about Keisean Nixon and the conversation we had with him yesterday and how he's approaching this training camp. He is out here again for his second straight practice after, for some of us, maybe a mysterious hamstring issue that kept him out, but he claims that had nothing to do with his contract situation. We'll get to that coming up after I tell you about Grubelov's one call, that's all, and I say it all the time, but I mean it. I hope you never have to call them. David hopes you never have to call him either, because that means you've never been injured in an accident. But unfortunately, it happens all the time. And also, unfortunately, sometimes people make the wrong call. So make the right call and make sure that you have the best team on your team if you've been injured in an accident, and that is Grubelov's. It's one call, that's all. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666, or go to the website, gruber-law.com. All right, the Packers continuing with practice. Looks like we might have some 11-on-11 coming up here. Before we can get to that, we need to hear from Tausch on tape. Tausch on tape. I always love Tausch on tape, telling us about Hard Rock Casino Rockford. More Wilde and Tausch with Joe Thomas as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here for Hard Rock Casino Rockford, a premier entertainment destination just off of I-90 in Rockford, Illinois. Hard Rock Casino Rockford offers the most generous and most frequent promotions of any casino in the Midwest. And how's this for a little adventure? If you're not able to make it up to Green Bay for the college football opener, head down to Hard Rock Casino Rockford on Sunday, September 6th. At 9 p.m. on the Sunday night of Labor Day weekend, one lucky winner will receive a $45,000 credit, valid towards the purchase of any eligible new or pre-owned RV. That's right. Play now using your Unity card and earn entries through September 6th, and you could win a $45,000 credit for a new or used RV. Check out the full rules at casino.hardrock.com. Play, dine, shop, and enjoy live shows and the sportsbook. Hard Rock Casino Rockford, a premier entertainment destination just off of I-90 in Rockford, Illinois.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on August 4th.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they play the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Local Union 2150 IBEW. Tune in August 4th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
It all started with a small storefront and a big promise. Treat every customer just like family. For decades, local families have trusted Sendix to provide the freshest food, the warmest smiles, and a place where community comes first. From generation to generation, we have grown together. Because Sendix is more than just a grocery store. It's home. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for the past 100 years. Here's to the next 100 years. Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
Feeding the kids shouldn't turn into a negotiation. That's why Cousin Subs reimagined the kids' meal. Kids get to choose a kid's sub, mac and cheese, or chicken tenders, plus a side, a drink, and dessert. Everything they want, nothing you have to overthink. And while they're covered, so are you, with fresh-made favorites you'll actually want and feel good about. More choices, more smiles. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella-certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And while buying a home is a big deal, it certainly doesn't have to be and shouldn't be a stressful experience. At Great Midwest Bank, we combine competitive rates, fast pre-approvals, and honest advice from knowledgeable loan officers to help you every step of the way through your home buying or building journey. For 90 years, our customers have been part of the GMB family. Experience a state of tranquility at GreatMidwestBank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch for Outdoor Living Unlimited. Well, my wife and I chose Outdoor Living Unlimited to build our outdoor project. And when we met with Aaron and Eric Brown, owners and brothers of Outdoor Living Unlimited, we felt like they were the right guys to work with. We share the same hardworking values, and their showroom is a must-see at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha. If you're looking for a new deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, and more, Outdoor Living Unlimited is a must. Start with OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com and end with an amazing outdoor space.
Sports are changing. Faster, stronger, smarter. So should your beer. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp and refreshing, no extra baggage, built for people who go hard. Still drinking the same old light beer? You're stuck. Flight is changing the game. Level up. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. Wisconsin, are you keeping up? DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Wisconsin State Fair turns 175 this summer, and we only get better with age. Join us for 11 days of fun, iconic traditions, grand champion moments, and food that's absolutely worth the hype. Celebrate 175 years together and get your tickets today at wistatefair.com. Wisconsin State Fair, presented by T-Mobile, August 6th through 16th. We'll see you there.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, 855 Pella WI, or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
You know, there's this old saying, there is no such thing as a stupid question. I'm here to tell you that that's false. I've heard plenty of them and certainly asked plenty of them in my time covering this team, so I'm not going to pretend that there aren't stupid questions, and this could be among them, because I'm going to ask a Hall of Famer this question. Joe, at any point during your time with the Browns, did you find yourself unhappy with your contract?
To be totally honest, I don't think I ever felt like deep unhappiness. Sure, there was times in my career that I was like, oh man, now these dudes are getting paid a lot of money and I'm way better than they are. But I don't know. I never really wanted to make that something I dwelled on because I just wanted to be the best left tackle I possibly could be and try to be the best teammate that I could be. And I just thought that if I could focus on those two things and keep every little last brain cell in my mind thinking about that, then the contract stuff will take care of itself. And, you know, towards the middle of my second deal, so maybe like year 7 or 8, sure, could I have held out and tried to make a little bit more money? Sure, but also that kind of wasn't who I was. And I think in the end, my mindset was like, you know what? I get to play a kid's game. I'm making way more money than I ever dreamed of, and it's more important to me to be a great teammate and try to be part of an awesome team and let that stuff take care of itself rather than trying to extort the team for some more money, even though maybe I deserved it. And that's not to say like guys that do that don't have a right to do it because I think players should absolutely get every last cent that they're worth. But in my personal situation, it wasn't something that I really ever thought about, and I never really had to worry about it.
So, and there is no player on this current roster today that is more of a lightning rod that if I even say his name, we get tweets about him. And I'm just, again, I understand that I have a different view of Keisean Nixon than some of the fans. I look at him as a guy that I understand he's brash. I understand the optics of that play at the goal line against the Bears in the playoff game. I understand all that. At the same time, this is a guy that signed for veteran minimum in 2022. Wasn't even the return guy when he came here. He worked his way up, became an all-pro return guy, then became their starting nickel, and now is a starting outside corner. And I was having this conversation with one of the national folks that were here yesterday, and he said it, not me. If you're mad that Keisean Nixon is your number one corner, don't be mad at Keisean Nixon. Be mad at your general manager who has handled that position to the point that Keisean Nixon is your number one corner. If he was your number two corner, no one would complain about him. But he is definitely their number one, and he is being paid this year $4.3 million as a base salary. He did not practice the first day. He passed his physical and then said yesterday to us that he experienced some hamstring tightness when he woke up, so he did not practice the first day. And I would say this was a smart thing, even if he was kind of maybe faking it a little bit, but he says he wasn't, so I'm going to take him at his word. But he got back out there yesterday. He's out there again today because I don't think you want to be opening the door by holding in, given the fact that it didn't help Elton Jenkins, who is now a Cleveland Brown, by the way, last year. So he's out there today. He's out there yesterday. We talked to him in his locker yesterday. He said he's just going to focus on playing ball, and that it's up to his agent and Goody. He kept saying it's up to Goody and my agent, Goody and my agent. But, Joe, I'm sure you had, even if it wasn't you personally, I'm sure you had guys that were probably underpaid and had a right to be less than thrilled with their financial lot in life. Did you see them? How did you see them handle it? Because I think that you probably go through different stages, and Keisean was probably pissed for a while, and now he's probably just resigned to it. And basically, you have to, at some point, right, you have to say to yourself, look, I can't keep sulking because then I'm not going to play well, and then I'm really going to cost myself some money. So how did you see guys deal with that when they were maybe in a similar position to what Keisean is in now?
It's a difficult situation, and I'll give a little bit of context to the things that I said about my own career. I was the third pick overall, so I got paid as a rookie, and I had a nice contract and then signed another nice contract. And so guys that come in undrafted or late round draft choices haven't really made a big contract yet. I understand that those are different circumstances and they want that deal, but how you handle it, I think, a lot of times determines if you do get that deal and how big it is and what it looks like. And I've seen the good and the bad of handling it. My own opinion, overwhelmingly for a guy like Keisean, would be, hey, if they don't want to pay you what you think you're worth, fine, great. Go out and prove that they were wrong and be the best version of yourself every single day, be the best teammate, and make them think in their mind, we cannot go on without this guy. We have to have him here. And if you're a great teammate, you show up every single day, you do everything right, you're a great leader, they're going to value that highly above what you just do on the field for them. And they're going to say, you know what, maybe he's not worth top of the market money. Maybe he's maybe should be paid like a number two, but we're going to pay him a little bit more because he showed us the loyalty. He's an amazing locker room guy. He's the type of person we want to build our defense around, and we want to point to the other young guys and say, hey, this is how you act like a true professional. And a lot of times, that's how you get the most leverage and get the best contract. The worst thing to do is to do these little hold-ins and to play all these games, because in the end, the team just gets annoyed with you. Unless you're like the best player at the position, then you're Myles Garrett, you're Micah Parsons. Okay, that can create some leverage. But if you're not that guy, all you're doing is creating a little needle in the side of the team, making them say, no, we don't want to pay this guy. We want to get rid of him, actually, as soon as we can. And so I think it's the wrong approach. When I was in Cleveland, We had a guy, Peyton Hillis, who had a great season, was on the cover of Madden, ran for 1,000 yards. Was kind of a fullback when he came in. He was thrust into service as a running back because we had nobody else. Our offensive line blocked every run basically for 6 yards. He got 4.5, and so then thought he was supposed to be paid as this great running back. And so he did something similar. All of a sudden he had all these hamstring injuries. He stopped practicing all the time because he was hurt. And then you know what? He tried to go out on Sundays and perform the way he needed to be able to go get paid by the Browns or somewhere else. And he couldn't do it because he hadn't put the work in. Because he's so worried about his contract. He was so worried about sticking it to the team and showing them how much they need him by sitting out of practice that he wasn't in shape. He wasn't the same dude that he was before, because what made him good enough to be on the cover of Madden was the fact that he felt like he had that chip on his shoulder and he had to show up every day and he had to prove himself every single time he stepped on that field. And even if he was nicked up a little bit, he was going to go out there and sell it for his teammates and his team. But because he didn't put that work in, because he was so worried about his contract, he ended up actually getting hurt when he tried to go out and play. And then he never got the contract he wanted. And then he was out of the league not too long after that. So a little cautionary tale. There's a right way and a wrong way to handle things. And I think the wrong way is typically, unless you're the best of the best at that position and they have to have you, you should show up and absolutely be at your best every single day and prove to the team they have to have you.
Well, that appears to be the approach that Keisean Nixon has decided to take. I would also say that Brandon Cisse, their second-round pick, their top pick since they didn't have a first-rounder from the Micah Parsons trade, probably seeing him out at practice on day one in your spots, it's a pretty good motivator too, right? Make sure that I'm not going to give this guy an opportunity to Wally Pip me. I'm going to be out there and keep fighting for my starting spot. We will see what kind of season Keisean has, but it was interesting spending some time with him yesterday. And that Peyton Hillis cautionary tale, that's a good one. I remember him being on the cover of Madden, but to your point, I kind of forgot whatever happened to him after that. And that's a really big cautionary tale you just shared. I have another.
Oh, sorry. Real
No,
briefly.
go ahead.
I know you just sparked a little something inside of me.
Yeah.
Guys, oftentimes, and this is every pro athlete I've ever been around, you have to fight the mentality of forgetting the work that you put in to get to where you were. Because it's just like a fan base, right? Your team wins 10 or 11, 12 games every year. You feel like that's the expectation, that's the standard, and you just roll out of bed there. And you forget, like, what you had to do to get to that situation. And that if you don't do that work, you're not back to where you were last year, and you're not even close. And so I think for these guys, like, now I've made it. I don't have to put in the work I was putting in. That's a recipe for disaster.
Here's another cautionary tale. If you don't have your legal affairs in order, you're not alone. 84% of people do not have them fully in order. That's why we have Walney Legal Group on our side. They specialize in estate planning, wills, trusts, probate, elder care, and special needs planning, offering a customized, personalized experience, not a cookie-cutter, one-size-fits-all solution. As Ito and Kelly have told me, estate planning is an uncomfortable necessity. I agree with the uncomfortable part, and I also agree with the necessity part. That's why I have started the process with them. I'm about halfway through, and I continue to move forward because they make it smooth, easy, and as painless as possible. As they like to say, lawyering the way it should be. Clear communication, niche expertise, personal service, and a modern approach. So go to the website right now and start the process no matter where you're at. WalneyLegal.com. That's WALNY legal.com. Whoa, Rye Guy with maybe a little bit of Whoa, Riley as well. Coming up next, it's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
One of the most important concepts in sports is don't drop the ball. Are you dropping the ball with your estate plan? When was it last updated? Have you even done one at all? It's ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde for Walney Legal Group. There's a lot at stake for you and your family when it comes to wills, trusts, probate, and elder planning. At Walney Legal, that's all they do. Tailored documents. No confusing legal jargon. Just thoughtful guidance. Do the blocking and tackling to protect your family. Start a conversation today at WalneyLegal.com.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point. with Chris Canty.
I don't know how many quarterbacks you can use Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, the former general manager, as the scapegoat for. J.J. McCarthy didn't work out. It's clear and obvious. Justin Jefferson isn't happy, which is a key in all of this. They fired the general manager, brought in somebody else. The head coach went out and got Kyler Murray to be a part of this quarterback competition. This has to work in Minnesota, and I don't know that the organization is going to continue to gamble away seasons on the promise that once upon a time was J.J. McCarthy. I think this is Kyler's show. If J.J. McCarthy somehow, some way ends up starting games, it would be because he blew everybody away in his training camp in preseason, or it would be because of an injury to Kyler. And I think those are both long shots as we sit here today.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code CLEAR to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code CLEAR to borrow up to $10,000. Use code CLEAR to borrow up to $10,000.
Baseball season is in full swing, and there's only one way to celebrate, with a Surfside iced tea and vodka or a Surfside lemonade and vodka. Smooth, refreshing, and made for game day. Surfside is the perfect match for a day at the ballpark or catching the game at home. Surfside is only 100 calories with 0 bubbles, so it goes down easy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. With over 40 years of experience saving businesses money, we are on a mission to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Try saying that 5 times fast. Do you lose sleep at night trying to figure out how to make the next payroll? Are your vendors lined up outside your door? Are you cash on delivery? We can help. We have a proven process and strategy to turn your cash-sucking business into a cash-generating machine, so you can keep that cash in your pocket. It really works. We use it in our business, and many clients are successfully using it in their business. Ask Pam, who recently bought a business and asked us to help her see through the fog. Would you like to sleep at night knowing your bills are paid, take a vacation, or go out to eat with your spouse? You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us at 414-325-2040 to set up a complimentary consultation. That's 414-325-2040, or visit us at nealgroup.net. That's NEALgroup.net.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, 855 Pella WI, or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Time now. Ryga, you may have set a record for least amount of verbal contributions to a program as the producer. Certainly Jesse's never come anywhere close to such a low percentage. Let's turn the show over to you for Whoa Ryga.
Is good. The guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocca's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Yeah, Jason, unlike your usual producer, I am not starved for attention at all times, so I don't feel the need to talk consistently. Even when he's not on the show, he's texting us during the show about us talking about him. Not about the show, but us talking about him on the show is the only thing Jesse points out, obviously. But because I am a good producer, I am going to do his duties as well while he's away.
Well, you do sound like Jesse right now telling us that you're a good producer. So, at least you're...
I'm learning something. The chair is growing on me, Jason. That's what I'll say. I'm slowly becoming Jesse. But I do have to pull this week's Wilde Tausch trivia winner from the famous cheese fry helmet that he uses. There's a patented creation. So, guys, let's go ahead and see who will be the winner of this week's Wilde Tausch trivia. And that would be contestant number 3, which, guys, this week, that was Robert in Eau Claire. Congratulations to Robert in Eau Claire winning that Cousin
Good work,
Subs.
Robert.
That Cousin
Well
Subs
done.
and Vortex Optics trivia swag bag. So congratulations to Robert in Eau Claire. Anyways, all right, guys. It is Whoa Wooly. And Jason hinted there might be some Whoa Riley in here, too. And I already told Riley that this is something he's going to be interested in as well. Because, guys, I don't know if you heard the big news from 2 D3 colleges in Illinois. But Jesse Nelson, once again referencing the usual producer, has been a big proponent of moving bowl games to earlier in the college football season. Well, apparently Eureka College and Westminster College have established their own bowl game on September 16th. The inaugural Berlin Wall Bowl game will be played this coming season, guys. No reactions, nothing. No.
I'm sorry, is there a question in there?
I was waiting to
Didn't
see
seem
if
like there was a question.
I was waiting to see if there was a laugh. Nothing. Okay, well, I guess no one's as interested as I am. The 2 institutions are playing for the Berlin Wall Bowl game because they both have a historic connection, one through Prime Minister Winston Churchill, the other through President Ronald Reagan, and they both have original sections of the Berlin Wall displayed on their campus as well. So the Berlin
Whoa!
Wall.
Now we're talking. A little context would have helped. Yeah, all right.
It's almost as bad as Name That Year.
There we go.
Down with the Cold War. Anyways, the winner earns possession of the newly created Berlin Wall Bowl trophy. So, guys, if 2 Wisconsin D3 colleges were to do something even remotely like this, something related to a historical event where they could play over the bowl game trophy, what do you think it should be? I mean, we have a few here that have like consistently been played. The Culver's Isthmus Bowl is one that we've broadcasted here on ESPN Madison a couple times. I don't know if there's anything else, though, related to just Wisconsinisms or Wisconsin history that you guys think could be interesting. But, Riley, you're the biggest college football fan I know. I'd want to throw it to you here first.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of big historical events, and particularly tragic events. I don't know, did any universities have a connection to, like, the Chicago Fire back in the early 20th century, perchance?
I mean, did it have to be a tragic event?
Well, I don't know. Berlin Wall, that was... The Cold War wasn't great.
Well, yeah, but it coming down is the big deal. That's why they have parts of the wall. Like, it was a historic, momentous moment.
Well, they rebuilt after the Chicago
was
Fire.
Bad.
Yeah.
Well, the original was bad, but we're celebrating it because it's not there anymore, right? Like, that's the reason we celebrate the
Talk
Berlin
about
Wall.
threading the needle there.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You're going to make us want to have Jesse back.
Wow.
That's the big.
Didn't have
That's
that
the
on
most,
my bingo card.
the most insulting thing Jason's
Yeah.
ever said to me, actually.
Mifflin Street Block Party Bowl, like the Madison, Wisconsin freshmen versus Whitewater.
Yeah.
Right around finals week.
Versus the Edgewood College football team, if they had one.
Some flag football.
Yeah, but it's actually not a football game. It's a beer drinking contest.
Yes.
So I think I
can get behind
I'd
that.
buy tickets to that.
Yeah.
Live stream that one, baby. ESPN Wisconsin. Plus.
The Ocho.
Yeah. Let's go.
Next. Oh, next. All right.
Oh, Nelly.
Jason doesn't have
my
anything. Jason doesn't have anything for that one. All right, guys. Then the other thing that happened to me this morning, I did go to the gym, as I'm a psycho who goes to the gym. Today I went at 5:30, and there was an issue for me.
Should have come with me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Joe was there.
5:30.
Talk about digital content.
Yeah.
Working out with Joe Thomas? Let's get on that.
Something tells me it would not go well for me at all. As you can tell, I don't know if you can see me.
The Barbell Bowl.
The Barbell Bowl.
There it is.
The Broken Arms Bowl might be more like it. If you guys can see my arms on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream, they're not quite there. But guys, I was at the gym, and it was really awkward because I don't usually go that early, and I don't know if this is a normal thing, but there was no music at all playing in this entire public gym for like 2 hours, and it was just completely silent. Like, for me, I'm someone who likes to listen to a podcast when I'm working out, so I have one earbud in, but I can't bring myself to put both in and just like close out the rest of the world because I want to have like awareness of my surroundings, anyone who's there with me. But the dead silence of just other people working out and then awkward conversations in the background made me very uncomfortable at the gym. Are you guys like me? Do you have to go to the gym and there has to be some sort of background noise?
Yeah, but also if you're listening to a podcast when you're training in the weight room, it makes total sense why your arms look like toothpicks.
Okay. Let me say this.
There's not enough focus on getting bigger and getting stronger if we're enjoying our daily dose of the New York Times.
Well, it wasn't the daily, but I will.
NPR.
Yeah, NPR radio, the quiet storm.
I said this, Joe. I went to the gym. I did not say I was touching the weights.
That makes sense.
I was doing cardio strictly this morning on the stationary bicycle, getting some sweat in before I came into work. So, yeah.
Here's closing the loop back to your Berlin Wall thing. So I lived in Germany for a year. We were coaching the Munich Ravens. And German culture, very different than American culture. And I would work out there, and their gyms are silent as well. And it's required. And it's very weird. I hated it. I like going into the gym. I mean, you're used to training with athletes. Music is cranking. People are sweating and screaming, and there's chalk everywhere, right? Like, things are getting done. We are working, and we are grinding and getting better. And the fact that the gym is quiet, I hated it. I hated every day that I worked out there. And exercise is a large part of my life. It gives me joy and happiness. And every hour that I get to do during the week is like the best hour. And I totally get where you're coming from. I don't know why they would ever go quiet in a weight room and a gym. It makes zero sense to me.
It was like 5 people there in like this gym, like the size of like a parking lot, and it's just like dead silent. Everyone can just hear whatever the other people are doing for their workout. I felt very uncomfortable. I hated it. It was 45. It was like the first hour or so I was there, basically the entire time. So it was very weird. Riley, have you ever been to jiu-jitsu practice without any music on?
No, actually. Usually, even during jiu-jitsu, there's music going on in the background. Sometimes it's Brazilian pop, and I have no idea what they're saying, but it's great music. It's upbeat. You're rolling around. You're working hard. So, no, I also much prefer music and the ambient noise rather than, just a bunch of sweaty dudes wrestling.
Wilde, at Packers practice, do they play music?
Yes, but they do, and I always have to be a little bit careful about where I stand because it is oftentimes, at least during the season when there aren't fans here, it is uncensored. So I don't want to run afoul with the FCC. I do believe they clean it up here during training camp when the kids are here, but there are I'm sure we'll have a practice next week that'll be open to the media but closed to fans, and then I'll have to be careful again with the with how close I am to the speakers because the word choices are questionable. I do want to look. Joe Thomas doesn't need our praise and adulation too much. I know it makes him uncomfortable. He's just a regular guy. But what a great teammate. You, by that German gym story, completely saved the second half of an otherwise god-awful, woolly portion of the program.
Look.
Wow.
I used to.
Hour.
I will say, up until this conversation, I used to feel good about going to the gym every day until Joe Thomas just made me feel like a weakling. I'll have that one in my back pocket forever, I guess.
Well, at least you got to ride the bike.
The no-logo Iron Addicts are always willing to take anybody that wants to come and give effort and sweat with us. So 5:30, you don't even have to wake up any earlier.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys got music playing. That's all I'll say.
Good
trust
plan
me.
for
We got a
next
DJ.
week.
We got a legit DJ.
Really?
Charlie Parker, the legend. He used to DJ at the KK, and he DJs our morning sessions in the weight room. Yeah, I love it. We don't mess around.
We will wrap things up with our Feel Good Friday painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. We'll do that after Tausch tells us about American Family Insurance. It's Wilde Tausch with Joe Thomas as our cousin sub of the day.
Sundays at Lambeau just got even better thanks to American Family Insurance. Enter the Dream Weekend Sweepstakes for your chance at the ultimate Packers game day experience. Winners score tickets to the November 15th game, a pregame tailgate in Titletown, a signed Jordan Love jersey, historical Packer tours, swag, and more. Your dream weekend is waiting. Don't miss it. No purchase is necessary. Enter by 11:59 Central Time on October 14th of 2026. See official rules and enter at amfam.com/Packers.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Hey, it's Ben Brust. ESPN Milwaukee is headed to the Wisconsin State Fair, and we want to see you at Left's Miller Lite Sports Bar and Grill. Join Kyle and me live from 2 to 5 August 6th, 10th, and 11th. Grab a drink at the new Sipsconsin Cocktail Bar. Try the Chimmy Brat Changa or can-dried bacon cheese curds. Then play Taste Great, Less Filling at 3 o'clock for your chance to win Milwaukee baseball tickets. Plus, Left's has a semi-private space perfect for your next group outing at the fair. Great food, great music, and ESPN Milwaukee only at Left's.
Your brand doesn't need more square footage.
It needs more wow.
When you work with Captivate Exhibits, trade show booths become magnets, lobbies become living stories, break rooms become culture builders.
Captivate creates experiences people don't just see, they feel.
For more than 30 years, their award-winning team has transformed big ideas into bold brand moments that command attention and drive results.
Stop blending in.
Start captivating.
Visit CaptivateExhibits.com.
Summertime is when you'll find the largest selection of homes on the market.
But it's the bottom of the night, as it's also the time when homes move the quickest.
This is Tony Wendorf with Tony Wendorf & Associates, powered by Keller Williams.
And I'm Andrea Wojcinski. With more buyers competing, preparation, speed, and expert local guidance can make all the difference.
Start your home journey today with our white glove service at wendorfteam.kw.com.
Tony Wendorf & Associates.
A real estate team driven by faith, gratitude, and results.
Hi, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Most contractors cut corners and disappear when there's a problem. Not us. Since 1997, we've completed over 60,000 projects, earned thousands of 5-star reviews, and were named 2025 Roofing Magazine Contractor of the Year. We set the standard for exterior remodeling. Trusted by homeowners, proven every single day. We're excited to show you why choosing Infinity means peace of mind. Visit infinityexteriors.com to see why your neighbors trust Infinity.
Milwaukee just got hotter. Announcing the Buys of Summer sales event at Wilde Automotive Group. Get the lowest prices guaranteed on new vehicles. We'll beat your best price by $500 or we'll pay you $500 cash. Guaranteed. Shop over 1,500 vehicles and make no payments until September. 11 brands, 10 locations, one easy experience. Don't miss Wilde's Buys of Summer sales event.
Go to ewaldeauto.com.
With approved credit, interest accrues from date of purchase. See dealer for details. Expires month end.
Feels like the world is a little broken lately. Maybe all we need is a fix. Most spirits are acidic. Fix Vodka is different. Fix Vodka is the world's first high alkaline, acid-free vodka. Handcrafted with natural spring water and select grain. Clean, smooth, done right. Better water, better vodka. Get your local Fix.
Fix Vodka.
Enjoy responsibly.
What life events have you experienced over the past couple of years? Well, maybe one is coming up. The sale of a company, death, divorce, a health crisis, or helping to pay for college or a wedding. Well, Annex Wealth Management has assisted clients with life events, but planning for them can make all the difference. Knowing what you own, why you own it, and how much you're paying for it is a big part of smart financial planning. Annex has an entire in-house team that works together so you can make informed decisions when life events come up. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
Kevin Moret from Mentality Men's Health. Here's what we've learned in treating 25,000 men. You can't just rely on testosterone alone anymore. To run at full capacity, your body needs peptide therapy on top of your TRT. Our physician's treatment designed to support your recovery, repair, and performance with peptide therapy. A custom plan around your numbers, monitored every step of the way. Testosterone levels the field and peptides drive your results. Start today at lowtusa.com.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
We wrap up the week and wrap up the show with Feel Good Friday, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. And for that, we turn to the Hall of Famer, Joe Thomas.
Yeah, so last night was cool. I was at Johnny Delmonico's great steakhouse in Madison, Wisconsin. Actually did my official visit dinner there. Had a spectacular dinner there, just like I did last night. It was the Coaches versus Cancer fundraiser. I think there was around 85, 90 guests, raised over 50 grand just in ticket sales alone. It was cool because Hall of Fame Farms Wagyu was on the menu, and they had strip steak. We had ribeye, and then we had picanha, which is a sirloin cap. A lot of people haven't had it unless you're a jiu-jitsu master. Brazilians, that's their favorite
Really?
cut. It's got
I'm gonna
amazing
ask about
beefiness, and with our Wagyu, it's incredibly tender also, unlike a lot of other breeds, and marbled. And it was really special. So for me to be able to come there and think about at that moment, 15 years ago, I was playing in the NFL. Now I can use what has become my second career as a farmer, raising Wagyu in Muscatine, Wisconsin, to help make an impact locally, raising money for cancer research, Carbone Cancer Center. It was definitely a big feel-good evening for me and my Hall of Fame Farms team that was there last night, and seeing and getting a chance to meet a bunch of the guests that were there. One of the people that came up to me at the end of the night said, I've been a chef for 40 years, and that was the best steak I've ever had in my entire life. And so, when you have moments like that, you're like, man, I must be doing the right things right now because I'm making an impact, and it also makes me feel pretty good to be able to help out in Madison and the community that I live, and it's so important to me and my family. It was a very humbling moment, much the same as it was for Wilde when he had the super fan hollering at him today as he went out to practice. So if you're interested in our beef sticks, our beef jerky, or cheddar wurst, summer sausage, or those amazing Wagyu steaks, please visit HallOfFameFarms.com. You can ask these guys here. The jerky and the sticks that I bring in are pretty good. We think they're the best of the best, but I'll let you guys decide for yourselves.
Almost as humbling as the way Wooly went in the last segment. All right, that's it for us today. Thanks to Joe.
Well, if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, my friends at Sendik's have you covered. This Saturday and Sunday from